revolving door. Welcome to the Geek Matrix.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Geek Matrix DC Comics Review Show, episode number 254.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Welcome. My name is Rob, and joining me as always are my lovely co-hosts, Brandon.
Hello.
And Josh.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Well, Mr. Oz, I'm afraid we can't do that.
Yeah, I know. There's no curtain.
Exactly. That's what I was talking about. Yeah. Anyway, we are here every week talking the week's DC Comics releases, and this week is no different. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. This week is no different. I already said that. We have, in our honorable mentions, Fire and Ice When Hell Freezes Over, number 4. Gotham City Sirens Unfit for Orbit, number 2. I guess that's a weekly series. Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice, number 1. Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman, number 2. And Batman Dark Patterns, number 8. And deferred to the end of the month in our Absolute Roundup show, Absolute Superman, number 9. And we'll have a slew of 6 books for you today that we'll just get into a little bit later, if that's all right with y'all. Yeah. Popping up again. I already clicked yes. Anyway.
Oh, that's what was going on with your mic? Sounded like Xbox mic.
Did it change again?
It did. It changed,
Yeah.
but now it's back
Much
and you're
clearer.
normal and everything is good.
That was weird.
I was just going to pretend like nothing was wrong for the whole episode.
I like Josh and I made sure it was on the right one before we even started when we got here. That's weird.
That was
okay.
weird.
What was it set to, Josh?
Your webcam.
Again? What the? Okay, hang on. Let me check something real quick.
We can set. I know how to set your default ones just fine afterward. Uh-oh. Brandon disappeared.
Oh.
Oh, I'm here. I just
okay.
light off.
Right.
Oh, okay. I was curious if maybe I had because I muted my mic earlier, maybe it eventually just defaulted to the other one. I don't know.
I don't know either.
So maybe you could hear me. And maybe that thing you said sounded like a weird chest underwater. That was me. I don't know.
Were you playing with plastic?
Anyway,
Rob?
I was freeing one of my guy gardeners.
I heard you. It's a good thing you didn't.
I thought I was
about anybody.
free and clear because I had my mic muted. I didn't think it was going to cause issues.
Wrong,
but,
Mike.
Shit.
Quite.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the fun for today. How are you guys?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Yeah, right on.
Not too shabby.
Very excited. Depending on
$1,000 later, I had to go to take the car in today. But,
hey, God, yeah. I feel that.
That is never fun.
So,
what was wrong with it?
It needed an oil change and some brakes replaced.
Oh God, brakes are expensive.
Brakes are very expensive.
God damn. Well, that sucks.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I feel you. I've had to do that the past couple of months too.
I used to be able to do my own. Can't do that anymore. So.
Yeah.
Got to pay somebody else to do it. Golly, is a lot more money than doing it yourself.
Imagine.
Woo.
All right, sorry, Brandon. What were you about to say?
Oh, yeah. Depending on what time we wrap up, I'm gonna try. Also, depending on how tired or not tired I am, I'm gonna try and sneak out and see a little Superman tonight.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited. I've been thinking about it all day. I'm not going to lie. Well, there were two things in my mind. first was, oh my God, I'm so glad I don't have kids because I can thumb my nose at you and be like, yeah, I don't have to worry about babysitting anyone. I can go whenever I want.
I've been given a free pass to just
Um,
go by myself and just gonna watch the kids. So
Really?
yeah,
There you go.
I
I'm
do
clear.
not blame
But the
you.
second was, I was walking home from work, and the theater that I'm going to go to, hopefully later tonight, had a showing at 3 o'clock. And I walked past at like 3:07. And I was like,
so tempted.
ooh,
Do I message the
it would be
guys, tell
so
them I'm gonna be an
tempting.
hour late?
Just be like, well, that's the thing. I would have been 30, 45 minutes late, but I can't do it.
Honestly,
Because I didn't have my Superman
I wouldn't have
shirt
blamed
either.
you. I know that's
Yeah.
the deal. You want to go dressed up for an
I
event
had
like
to
this.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I don't know. There was a part of me that was like, I should have worn my Superman shirt under my dress shirt, so I could have
Yes.
ripped. Because I've been thinking about it all day. Because I'm so excited to see this movie. And I was walking down the hall out of our building, and like I was like, ooh, if I could just rip it off, and I had the shirt on underneath.
I feel like
anyway.
the perfect cosplay to go see James Gunn's Superman is showing up as the kid from Brightburn.
Oh God. That would be
was his first Superman.
It was.
Yeah.
That's very true. What a messed up movie that was.
It was good though.
Yeah.
It was really good. That's exactly what I would do. Go
I believe
find myself a red towel, tie that shit around my neck. 100%, dude.
But no, I resisted the urge. But again, hopefully, I think I'm just gonna power through it tonight. Try and catch that 10 o'clock show because I can't.
Should.
Once I found out they had showtimes on Thursday, I was like, I can't wait another day. I gotta see it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. This is a must see. Everything I've been seeing and hearing about it has been stellar. I can't fucking wait.
I've heard no spoilers. I want no spoilers. I want to go in like just pure joy and blindness.
For the first time in a long time, I was going to be the exact same, except, and this is the problem. See, for the past couple of weeks, two subreddits in particular that I follow. One was called Shitty Movie Details, and the other was the DCU subreddit for like the new movie universe. I've just been like giving out joke posts every so often, saying here's spoilers for Superman, like 2 weeks in advance, and it's just like a funny image, and it's not really a spoiler. It's just comedy. Well, 2 days ago, I saw another post, and I clicked on it, and this time it actually was a fucking spoiler for like the end of the movie.
That's what I'm scared of. That's what I'm scared of. I'm like, I don't want to see an Instagram post or a Reddit post or a Snapchat or whatever. Like that's why I want to see it now, because I already know, like, if today is the first day of showings for like the general audiences, everyone and their mother's gonna be posting on fucking YouTube and everything tomorrow. I don't want to wake up tomorrow. And see like a poorly recorded phone video of a screening from last night, and that completely spoils it for me. So I gotta see it. Gotta go complete tunnel vision. No spoilers.
From all the footage I have seen, and I've been watching like news reports and interviews and all sorts of shit, you're gonna love it. Like this is. I know. DC
they gave
fans
away too much in the damn trailers already, man. It's like
I
should
know
come with that first final trailer and like there's all kinds of little interesting tidbits that they've dropped since the final trailer that they didn't need to, like
maybe so, but I haven't been paying
kidnapping
attention to it
crypto
that much. Yeah,
I mean, why did
I don't even remember seeing that.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I watched all the trailers multiple times. I don't even remember seeing that.
It would see, you don't watch any late night.
No.
I mean, who does?
I do.
This day.
I don't live
Just
on
watch the
YouTube,
clips
man.
on YouTube
Fuck
the
that
next
shit.
day.
I go on the internet. I'm gonna see shit I don't want to see. If I watch,
I mean,
if
I've been on
watch
the
it
internet and I
television,
didn't see the shit you saw.
you saw something much worse.
Well, that was accidental. That was
Right, and you couldn't help it. But I know for a fact
I thought it was a
that
joke.
the worst thing
I
that's
didn't
gonna
expect a real
happen
thing.
watching late night is Toby Maguire is gonna, or not Toby Maguire, Jesus. Tom Holland is gonna tell me something he's not supposed to about Spider-Man. That's the worst thing that's gonna happen.
Honestly, when Tom Holland reveals spoilers now, him and Mark Ruffalo, it's the best thing that ever happens because it's so fucking funny. Their reaction afterwards is just awesome.
The way that they handle it reminds me of like the Taco Bell and Wendy's rivalry on the internet. You just kind of want to stand back and watch.
Like when Mark Ruffalo was at the premiere for Endgame and he was live streaming the first 20 minutes on Instagram.
Yeah, right. Like, dude.
In his pocket. He had no fucking clue.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was hilarious. Anyway.
do not let them drive, okay?
Well, speaking of like outfits, Hot Topic has been dropping a whole bunch of Superman and Fantastic Four movie merch. And
Also,
I've been
Glitch
going.
Productions merch. Just
Also, what?
Glitch Productions. You
Oh,
guys don't
they
watch
have,
it.
They have
but
all
it's
sorts
really
of
good
stuff. Yeah.
Murder Drones, Gaslight District. You guys should check those out. They're really good shows.
Interesting.
Anyway,
It's
Superman.
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
You said Hot Topic. My brain had.
I've been like scouting around Hot Topics all across the regions here because they've had like some Green Lantern stuff come out too. None of the fucking Hot Topics here have it.
No.
They're just not getting it. It's only in the fucking United States. And shipping's like $50.
Let freedom ring.
And now it's too late. It's too late.
You gotta talk to me, man.
I'll have to wear an old shirt.
I'll get the shit for you. I would have gotten the shit for you.
Hey, I'm wearing the classic shirt. Shirt. Whoa.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to. It's not like I have a shortage of Green Lantern shirts. I just wanted to complain about Hot Topic for a minute.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You needed a Guy Gardner face on it. Like
they have
the fact that there's not one that is only like the entire front of the t-shirt is just Guy Gardner's face with a smirk. They are complete. Every fucking Green Lantern fan on the world.
Oh yeah, I would buy that in a heartbeat. What they do have though,
so much money.
What they do have is a T-shirt with Guy Gardner's first appearance, the cover of Green Lantern Silver Age number 59.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, of him in the Silver Age costume. Yeah, standing over Hal.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have it's kind of a baseball jersey with Green Lantern on. It's got green sleeves, white front. Green Lantern on the front, and on the back it says Gardner.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, that was going to be my outfit, but I can't fucking find them.
Dang.
Yeah.
I might even actually buy that if it said Rainer on the back.
Oh god, if it did.
Or Cruz. Fuck yeah.
Jordan.
No, I wouldn't sport a Jordan jersey. I have ethics.
Like Michael Jordan.
Oh goodness. Yeah, no, that's fair.
My man, I came from Michigan. I could never, Jordan is Chicago. Like any name Jordan is Chicago.
Yeah.
Any name Jordan is Chicago. I can't do it. Can't fuck the Bulls, fuck the Blackhawks. I love Chicago, but I can't handle those teams. Can't do it.
Fair enough. So that's why you hate CM Punk so much.
It's part of it.
But yet you love the Bear.
I love the Bear and I love the city.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just the things that come out of it I have to hate. You're my clear natural competition.
I still haven't finished this season of The Bear, but I was thinking about the other day.
2 episodes light for me.
I'm on episode 4 right now.
I think we just finished 7.
Yeah. I'm just hoping at some point, I was thinking the other day, that hopefully there's a line of dialogue or even like a blooper reel somewhere where like somebody's yelling at Richie because he like needs to take off or something, and they're just like, well, where are you gonna go? What, you're just gonna move to New York and be a superhero?
No. I will tell you that he does go like this at the kitchen staff.
Yeah.
It's clobbering time. I'm just fucking with you. He does not.
Oh my
god. No, I highly doubt there's going to be crossover there.
No, I know.
But
even like a blooper
that would have been cool though.
Yeah. So you just make a gag at his direction and have him just crack up on set. It's always a good time.
A better bet would that there's a bear joke in the movie.
I mean, the initial trailer had him like trying tomato sauce and saying, "Oh yeah."
Yep.
I think it would be a little far-fetched though to have Ben Grimm like, yeah, I grew up on Yancey Street. The sandwiches are great, but you know where you get good sandwiches? Chicago. Like, I don't
Chicago. Want hot beef.
I don't think that could happen. Do you watch The Bear, Brandon?
I watched like the first season, and then I never really watched much after that. But I was into it.
Right on.
I was definitely into that.
Yeah,
first season.
It's quite a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the last season, Josh?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely heavy. It's definitely quieter.
Yeah.
And it's very, I'm nervous watching it because I just have this feeling that something very, very bad is on the horizon.
Oh boy.
I have avoided all spoilers as
I've not seen anything.
So if you don't join the Reddits, if you just go to the Reddits, you'll never get the notifications for the shit you don't want.
Yeah.
And you just got to be careful. I get notifications for no sleep, they're explained like I'm fine.
Yeah. Oddly enough, and I don't know why this happens, I get notifications for my alt accounts, but not my main account.
That's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah. It is weird. I don't know if I found a way to turn off notifications or what, but
it's probably in the settings somewhere.
Yeah. So I just get the odd Nintendo post and that's it.
He does not use his alt account to browse Nintendo Reddits.
No, I went on it because I needed to like raise a certain amount of karma to do what I needed to do on it or something, and I just went to Nintendo subreddits and started commenting. Yeah.
That's what I'd tell people too. All right. Episode 254, guys. What do you think about that?
I think it's a high number.
It certainly is.
Crazy.
6 more weeks.
Till 260, right?
Yep.
Till 5 years.
5 years.
Crazy.
All right. Well, what books we got this week, Rob?
Well, before we get into that, I actually wanted to. It was on my notes. I just forgot to bring it up. Well, it's also kind of tied into books this week. A Marvel book came out tying in with Fantastic Four First Steps, a one-shot issue that is. I haven't read it yet, but it's not like your typical movie tie-in. I think it's just like it's the characters on an adventure within that movie universe. But the interesting thing about it, and I don't know if this is spoilers or not, but they have a character in this issue that has been rumored to be in the movie, and then they reveal who's playing him.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like they have a credits page. It's like Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, and then blah 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 as this person. Like, okay.
That's man, double marketing. They put out Fantastic Four First Steps for a movie tie-in, and then also started numbering Fantastic Four from number 1 again for no reason.
Yeah, that is their synergy. Because here's the thing. I read that one on the way home, Fantastic Four number 1. Same creative team. Well, I know it's a different artist, same writer. And at the back, he says, this is number 1 of this run, number 34 of the story I started with the last number 1, and number like 617 or whatever of the story Stan Lee started. Just like, yeah, he's numbering is really weird, but that's how it works. Like, okay. So like, even though it's a number 1, it's still the same story he's been writing for the last 3 years.
I mean, props to Marvel for keeping the legacy numbering on the cover, but I have to talk about this. Because look at this. Look at the size of that number 1.
Right?
And look at the size of the legacy numbering.
Yeah.
That is laughably small.
It is.
It might as well not be there. So you see number 1, and you squint like in the Chang meme from
maybe make it out.
You can kind of see Legacy 727.
Yeah.
But
also,
what do you
think of that cover? Like, not the art is good, but I mean more so like the heading and the title font. I really liked the last run's title font.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always loved keeping the fantastic and the 4 like spelled out in letters rather than having the number.
Yeah,
that's something that always just kind of bugged me. But it's a total nitpick. But I much prefer when the 4 is below the fantastic, not when it's side by side. It always looks weird to me. I don't know why. It looks like like one of those old timey drive-in restaurant fonts or something like that.
Yeah,
it looks much more sleek when it's Fantastic 4, not Fantastic 4. But
that makes sense. Like when I look at the cover of issue number 1, it feels like I'm reading an issue from like 20, 30 years ago, right? From the 90s or the 2000s, and it feels weird because I know it's not. And like the last cover designs and everything felt really fresh and new and almost futuristic. It's like it felt like this is a new Fantastic Four you're going to get, and it's going to be good. And this one feels a little more classic, even having the world's greatest comics magazine back on there again, which is a great header. But
no, I love that.
Yeah,
I hate that they got rid of that, but I'm gonna send an image, and I think this is kind of why it looks so odd to me. Because when you look at this, you'll see what I mean when I'm talking about the stacking, and like for some reason I had it in my head that there had been other versions of the Fantastic Four logo that had them side by side, but apparently not. So it just, I don't know, that placement looks kind of odd, but I agree. I did really like the previous logo.
Yeah. Though the one they have there, 2018 till now, that was the Dan Slott run.
That was the Dan Slott run.
Yeah, that was not the Ryan North one.
No.
Wait a minute. You're telling me
what's up?
The one, what was it for the Matt Fraction? Was Matt? No, not Matt Fraction. Who the fuck was doing it before?
Dan Slott.
No, before. Oh my god.
Which era are you talking about?
2009 to 2012.
That would have been Hickman.
That was Hickman. Okay. That's the exact same logo and font from 1975 to 1980. I never realized that.
That was That was the idea. Because they course corrected, I think, after Mark
Brian
Miller
Hitch.
and Brian Hitch's run was kind of a flop.
Yeah.
So yes, they brought that back, and they didn't have the World's Greatest Magazine logo like throughout the entirety of that run, except I think for the final issue, which is kind of weird. But I remember Hickman did like one of those post texts about his run, and he was like, "I wish we could have had that." And then we got it, but it was only for the last issue, which is kind of depressing. But yeah, they reused that one. But I mean, they did the same thing in the 2000s. They reused the 80s logo.
Yeah, and even 2013 and 2014 is really similar to 72 to 75.
Yeah, and 1992 to 2002 is the exact same as 1980 to 1981.
Yeah.
Which is the same as 1962 to 1970.
1970, 1972, and 1981, 1987, the exact same thing. That's crazy.
It's like a cycle. They go through it every few years. The funny thing is, like, Action Comics did that too, like during Rebirth, I think.
Yeah.
They would go through that cycle every few years where, like, they had the classic logo, and then I think they brought it back in the 2000s, and then they got rid of that, and then they brought it back during Rebirth, and then changed it, I think, when Philip Kennedy Johnson took over a little later or something like that. So, yeah. Comics love to reuse their logos.
Yeah. If I had to pick the worst one, though, I'm thinking 2002 to 2004.
Really?
It just looks weird. I know a lot of people would probably say 2014, 2015. That one's also kind of low on the list for me.
I hate the 4. The 2002 to 2004, I can give a little bit of leeway to, because at least it's on top of the 4. And to be honest, I probably have some bias because that's the logo for the Mark Waid run.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a little like the 4 in the background is completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
I kind of see what they're going for.
I mean, there was the Marvel Knights Fantastic Four was just called 4, wasn't it? Or the logo was just that
Marvel
4
Knights
in the background.
4. Yeah.
So it was that background number. I don't know. Interesting. Oddly enough, even though it was my least favorite run, the Dan Slott logo might be my favorite out of all of these.
Really? Wow.
Because it's not even just that it looks really good, the font is nice, and it has a nice design, but the colors are also there that represent all 4 members. You got the blue outline for Reed, the orange lining of the letters for Ben, the 4 is red and yellow for Johnny, and the inside of the letters is white, insinuating an invisibility for Sue.
That is very clever. I just think the 4 at the end of 4 so unnecessary because it looks like Fantastic 4.
Yeah.
Are we reading Fantastic 4 or Fantastic 44?
Why not both? Has anybody done that? With all the extra members that the Fantastic Four's had over the decades, they must have had 44 members by now.
That feels like it would have been a Peter David idea.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My personal favorite will always be 1975 to 1980 and also 2009 to 2012. Not even because the stories from those eras I love, but just because I love the outline around the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And just the way it really pops. It has that 3D look. Oh.
No, it's really well done.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Anyway, Fantastic Four #1. Definitely
how good a logo is. No, yeah, it's honestly it's a fantastic fucking first issue.
Yeah.
That was not a pun. I literally just call things fantastic all the time. No, it was a really good issue.
It is indeed a fantastic issue.
Yeah.
Worthy of the name Fantastic Four.
And knowing that Ryan North is still writing it doesn't. He even wrote in his blurb at the back. He said like every issue could be somebody's first issue, and I like that ideology. Yeah. And even though this is number one, it'll be somebody's first issue, but it also flows so well with what he was already writing that it doesn't feel like it's a full stop and start.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's a new number one, if that makes sense, right? For existing readers reading the previous run of his, it'll just feel like it's issue number 34.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think it handles that really well.
Yeah.
So, and we all know why they needed the new number one, but at this point,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, well, at least I'm with you. Like, at least Ryan North is able to continue his run, which I think was more important to me. Like,
yeah,
your story to a satisfying conclusion, you know, for however
exactly.
longer he plans to stay on the title, which I hope is a little longer.
Oh yeah, very long time, I hope.
The last one was 34 issues, I think. 33? Something like that.
I think it was 33.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think he'll definitely get to 50, but beyond that, I don't know.
I hope he's got a lot in the tank for FF.
Yeah.
It's just been stellar. You know, some of the letters in the back are saying this is one of, if not the best books on the stand right now. And I second that saying. I second that phrase.
You've been this book's biggest cheerleader since like issue 1.
God, have I ever. It's like, it felt like I was coming home.
I feel bad. I kind of got off the bus too early and then came back on later. I was like, oh, this is really good. I feel like I kind of missed out. But
did you catch up, or you still have some more to read?
I still have some more to read, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it just coming back with new eyes and being like, yeah, this is really good. And I don't know, it's just there always comes a point where, like, if I'm not reading Fantastic Four, it's like Spider-Man. Like, I just get to a point where I miss reading it.
Yeah,
it sucks. And so I'm always like, well, maybe it's time to go back to it and check it out. Now, Spider-Man, not so much. And now that I have Ultimate Spider-Man, I kind of fill that void. So I don't really need to crawl back to Amazing Spider-Man like an abused spouse.
But, I mean, the current ASM is actually not bad.
Yeah, it's just massively underwhelming is the problem.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I'll take underwhelming over complete and utter garbage.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Fantastic Four is like this one. I'm really gonna just try and keep up with month to month because I was like, I gotta scratch that itch. I miss reading the Four, man.
Exactly, and that's exactly what got me on this too. I feel the same way about Spider-Man too. Where every so often I would just see that it hasn't gone back to a new number one and cry a little on the inside. And then it did. I'm like, okay, maybe I should give it a shot. Speaking of new number ones, I finally read Captain America from last week, and it is fucking good.
You were texting me about it
good.
Just before this, with some timeline questions, which is interesting. I thought it was going to be something more related to like how does this fit in with Cap and the Avengers, but no.
I mean that it did take me a little bit to understand that there was time skips, like there was time differences here, and that what we saw of Cap was him a week after being thawed out of the ice. I didn't realize that, so I was really confused at first. But like once I got on that bandwagon, I'm like, all right, I like this.
Well, that to me was the most confusing thing going in, and then I read it, I was like, okay, it makes sense. But because you go back and you read Avengers number 4, I think that issue is where Cap is thawed out and joins the Avengers, and you're like, there should be no liminal period between when he's thawed out and kind of leaves a little bit and then helps the Avengers and joins the team. So it wouldn't make sense for him to have like this whole series of adventures in between. But I think this is more like, I think they're like softly retconning it and basically saying like Cap worked with the Avengers, kind of joined the team, but not really, but kind of just wanted to go off and do his own thing for a little bit. And then eventually he'll go back to Tony and be like, yeah, I'll join the team. So I don't mind that as
isn't that a little odd? I mean, isn't Captain America's the first Avenger?
I mean, in the MCU, I don't know if that was a thing.
Yeah, in the MCU. Yeah, never.
because he wasn't the first Avenger. He was like the 6th.
I thought it had gotten wrecked.
There were no Avengers. No.
Yeah.
No. The first Avengers are still good old Thor, Hulk, Wasp, Giant Man, or
it was Ant-Man at the time.
Ant-Man and
Iron Man.
Yeah. Who am I forgetting? Did I say Iron Man?
Iron Man.
I think so.
That was the 5.
Yeah. That was the 5. And Voyager, for anyone who read No Surrender. What was that book called? Anyway.
Oh, no, I did not.
Throwback to but yeah, those are the original Avengers. And then Cap kind of, joins issue 4, but maybe not now anymore.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history.
I mean, I like what Zdarsky's doing with it because it does feel a bit more realistic. And I get in the late 50s, early 60s when you have this like Silver Age superhero team-up comic, and we found Captain America. He hasn't been seen in 20, 30 years. Come join our super team. All right, chums, let's go. Like that's going to be it. But when you think about it more realistically, human emotion, especially now that they're pushing it further a few more decades, he's going to have a lot to reconcile with and try to come to terms and get more accustomed with the fact that he's lost his life.
Nah, I'm with Grant Morrison. Give me my cheesy Silver Age origins or death. I don't need that realism, decompressed bullshit. But no, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, especially now that they're having him thought out after 9/11 happened. That's a lot.
Which is interesting because the point I brought up to you was there is a Marvel Knights Captain America book from 2002 that's very good.
Yeah.
If a bit jingoistic at times, but it's for me it's still a page turner, and it has like the most gorgeous John Cassidy art you will ever read, besides maybe Planetary. But that takes place, like the first issue is literally in the aftermath of 9/11. So, I mean, obviously it was going to be a bit troublesome to have that take place in continuity, considering it's 24 years ago now, and that would age Captain America quite a bit. But I don't know. Maybe that's just one of those things they softly retcon. But the point I was saying to you was some people might say, well, that kind of ruins the weight of the story. And in a way, yes, it's not canon anymore. But I mean, I read that book in 2018, and I don't think it was canon anymore then.
Yeah.
And it was still like, wow, this is a great Captain America story. So I wouldn't let it lose its value as a story. It may not, be in Captain America canon, but it's still a great story.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, would you enjoy the reveal of Secret Empire less if you knew that it was Richard Nixon or just some guy? Because it's even when it's Richard Nixon, you're like, oh, well, clearly this is dated. It can't make sense anymore. But it hits a little harder if you know your U.S. history. So,
yeah,
there you go.
You just change it to the most recent president.
But that's lame, though. I don't know. I don't really mind that as much.
It's the best of both worlds.
But I like that it's a time capsule. So if you want to preserve parts of the story for canon, sure. But in its own universe, I would like for it to stay the way it was. So you can appreciate the story as it was at that time, not an updated version of it. You know what I mean? Like when you read 10 Nights of the Beast and they're like, we need to kill President Reagan. You're like, wow, really dated. I love that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Like, yeah, it's well before my time, but I can appreciate what they're trying to do in the 80s. So.
Yeah. So that's the one thing about sliding timelines that kind of bugs me. And as much as I appreciate that they do it, I don't know. It's complicated. It's so complicated.
You're complicated.
It just gets confusing.
We as comic fans have kind of made it complicated, as we get so fixated on how does this fit within a timeline? How does this work? How does this, and that? And I don't know. Grant Morrison's the best. He's like fucking comic book. I get wanting to make sense of it, but at the end of the day, just enjoy it for what it is, rather than trying to make sense of it and wrangle it. Because that is an endless, as I'm sure we all know, an endless hole, a bottomless pit that is impossible to make sense of.
Oh god, yeah.
Everyone's tried to do it. It doesn't work. Otherwise, there would be a million.
I feel like if the three of us did 30 hours a week, we could do it in a month.
But I don't want to do that. That's the point.
I don't.
There are other things I would.
But legitimately, I'm saying it's like they're but they put all that shit on like one person, and it's one person that, they always have a unique perspective of their own perspective, which way they've been looking at the DC universe, and I feel like this ought to be like a board. It ought to be a collective of people that just sit around, dedicate 1 to 6 months on this, put the bullet in the chamber and write the Bible, and then go from there. Then you just stick to the Bible.
I mean, for canon, yes. For timelines, like, that's the thing I don't really give a fuck about quite as much.
Keeping track of
get it
timelines, like
I'm talking about, like,
as long as if there's an omniverse map out there, then timelines can go wherever the fuck they want.
Or 5 years ago, or 15 years ago, like it really, to me, it doesn't matter that much. Like, if it happened, it happened. You know what I mean? I don't really need to know when it happened, as long as it did happen and it still has importance to who the character is. So trying to like logic the timeline of, well, how old was Dick Grayson when he became Robin? And how could he be Nightwing if he was, this age, but he should be this age, but he's not this age. It's like, it really doesn't matter that much. Not to me anyway. I get it. People want to fuss over that stuff, but what's more important to me, what's most important to me,
I don't
not to get on my soapbox or anything.
Damn.
That's the thing. Like, no one knows, right? Because if you go to the Golden Age,
Dick became Robin at 12 and then turned into Nightwing at 19 just because it sounds similar. I mean, that means that everything that he did as Robin before Nightwing happened during those fucking 7 years. Yep, he was busy.
But again, that's the problem, right? So then you have to hyper condense everything else. So
that's
Nightwing
the end of it.
becomes Robin for 7 years. How long is Jason Robin? Well, if you read comics in the 80s, it would be at least 5 years. But see that you're gonna have the problem that they had during the New 52, which is we need to make sense of how it could be possible for Batman to have 4 partners in 5 years. Which doesn't make sense unless they, served for 6 months, which is ridiculous. So again, my point is, like, don't overthink it. They served their time. It doesn't really matter how much time. What matters is they served. I shouldn't really say served, but they were Robin. They had their moments, and then they moved on to something else. And you're always going to have someone who is also like, well, this book says Dick Grayson is 19, but if I read the New Teen Titans number 40 or something, the issue where Dick turns 18, that means the majority of his New Teen Titans career was when he was 17, not 18, which means he had to be Nightwing when he was 18, but he was with the Titans for at least 4 or 5 years, which would put Nightwing in his early 20s before he goes to Bloodhaven. But then you have at least 3 to 4 years of him being in Bloodhaven before he's called back to be Batman. You see what I mean? Like, it's just going to be this thing, right? So by the time you get to Dick Grayson is Agent 37, he should be like 45.
But that's not the case, though, because those people who are looking at it that way are looking at it wrong. They're looking at how long that book was out or how long that character was in a title.
No, that's the thing.
Fucking story
it's not how long that book
that
was out.
Take look.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's not how
12 months for us to read. Could take 3 fucking days.
I would give you credit for that, except they have year skips in comics. And I know this because, and this is probably the most egregious example of it. For as much as I love this run, Mike Grell used a storytelling device where every few issues or something, Ollie would have a birthday, right? So you start with the Longbow Hunters, Ollie turns 40. By the time you get to the end of Mike Grell's run, he's had like 5 birthdays. So he should be 45, which means there should be at least 5 years if you're just reading that book between the start, issue 1, and issue 80. Now, again, you could be charitable and say, well, actually, it's not every birthday. It's more like a year or 2 years. But if I'm just reading the book, I don't know that. You know, I'm not operating on this logic of like,
well, yeah, but if
well,
you're just reading the book, you don't need to know that. That's inconsequential.
That's my point. That's why I'm saying we as comic fans, we tend to overcomplicate this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because we read so many stories where like
I definitely wasn't disagreeing with you.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to
show called Actually based around us.
Yeah. Because I fell into that trap like 4 or 5 years ago or something where I was trying to logic everything and I just realized like you can't, it's impossible. So it's not like I'm not trying to dumb myself down. It's more like, number one, it's not that serious, and number two, it's not even that fun because I feel like I'm losing the magic of trying to make everything make sense rather than just enjoying the story for what it is. So
that's okay.
Because I literally went through that exact same thing.
Like
Taylor's I had to like calm myself down.
Like Taylor's run.
Yeah, where you're just like, why isn't this shit making sense? You know, how could Bruce have had a 10-year-old son, you know, X years in the past, but still have been within like his first or second or third year as Robin, which doesn't make sense because again, when they meet the Al Ghul family, when Ra's actually presents himself for the first time in Batman 237, he's been Batman for quite a few years now, and you know that because it's Robin the Teen Wonder at that point, meaning if you're still following the old logic of, you know, Dick started being Robin at like 10 years old and now he's in college as Robin the Teen Wonder, there has to be at least 8 years because there's no logical way that he could go from 10 to 8 in enough time for Bruce to have met the Al Ghuls, and then eventually Son of the Demon happens, and then 10 years later he has a son. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. It just doesn't make sense. But
Dick should start being Robin at 13.
I'm like,
his parents loved him. They would not have him up on a trapeze at 10 years old as a professional. He was 13 years old. That's my.
I mean,
that's
again,
my story and I'm sticking to it.
This stuff was coming out in the 1940s, so I don't think they were really giving a concern about that.
But even not at the time. But I'm saying, like, to lock that shit down, it's not hard, man.
I'm also like, you know, who cares?
Tom Taylor's 2-year Nightwing run could be condensed down to 2 months worth of time.
It's like that was another thing. That is another point from Grant Morrison's Flex Mentallo, where it's like, yes, there are child sidekicks, and yeah, that might seem weird to a casual observer who doesn't really read comics, but for the rest of us, it's like, who gives a shit? They're boys, so what? Billy Batson is 8 or was like 10 or something, you know, when he became Shazam, and his circumstances are a little bit different, but like, I don't know, like, what difference does it make if they're 8 or 9 or 10? Why do they have to be 13? Does that now make it better? Have you seen what 13-year-olds are like now?
It was the age of their target demographic when they were trying to market that stuff and they had to be bright and shiny. That's the people that they went after.
I mean,
that's why Billy Batson is 11 years old.
Should have kids reading comics anyway. Like, that's sort of the problem, is now that we're catering to the older audience, they feel like they have to have someone that is, you know, closer to their age or whatever the hell, as opposed to, well, that's a whole other can of worms. But the point is, I don't think that really matters as much. I hate this this sense of like, I need to out logic the comic. I need to make it make sense so that I can feel satisfied. There are certain levels of logic.
I have OCD and I'm autistic. It's gotta make sense. So none of you will make it make sense. So I made it make sense up here.
Well, you can try, but I guarantee you it will never completely satisfy you. If you want something that you can have absolute control over, I'm afraid you picked the
It's not
wrong...
going to be minutely detailed, but for the sake of canon and continuity, it would be rather easy
even in
to
a
lock
general
it in.
sense, it'll
And the
never really make sense.
actualies
You know what I
can't
mean?
be but actually he was in Blue Haven for 4 years. But no, it took us 4 years to read his stories while he was in Blue
I'm
Haven.
telling you, it's not just we took 4 years to read his stories, because that book ran for over 13 years. It's the book says a year has passed in the book. That's my point, right?
That
So I'm
part
reading
has to
that
be
and I'm like,
retconned.
well,
Why does that? Why
that's my
can't that
point.
be
But
retconned?
that's my point. It's like, well, who cares, right? Like, okay, they said a year, whatever, right? If you read the story as it is, I'm not trying to be like, well, it has to be like, it can't be a year, it has to be like 2 months, right? That's where I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm having fun anymore when I'm trying to
When you're like, wait a
out
minute,
logic this shit. You know what I
like,
mean?
I haven't fucking done trig in forever. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do math during this. You know, it's not a calculus equation. And most of the time you're getting it from their perspective. So I don't know, like you can take it with a grain of salt. But my point is I don't even know where this tangent started, because it's like 6:15 already. But
Rob talking about
America.
Green Lantern.
No, it was Captain America this time. If you want
let me stop
even worse continuity thing, apparently in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, a kid's cartoon, Ben Grimm made an appearance and actually said the words, "I've never been to space." As the thing.
That's a trip.
So how did you get your powers?
Did you see that yourself, or is that just like something said on the internet? I would verify it.
No, it's a screenshot of the show that's been making the rounds on Reddit.
That's funny.
I've never been to space.
I think some writer probably just didn't know the origins of the Fantastic Four.
Since the event. He says under his breath, never fucking going to space again. Look what happened last time.
And just
come back with rock crabs.
Oh god. Side note for us, the voting round for Music League just dropped, and I'm very happy somebody picked Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys.
Oh, fuck
nice.
Yeah. Nice. Music League. An excellent, fun time. Fun way to spend time with your friends. I love it because I listen to music that I either haven't heard in a long ass time or have never heard of. And then, you know, some of you just have horrible taste and there's songs I never want to hear again. But, you know, that's part of the game. I love it. I have
maybe you is the one that has horrible taste.
Nope. I have impeccable taste.
Ask Isaiah that question. See what he says.
Isaiah has no idea what he's even talking about.
Anywho, did you guys want to know what the Fantastic Four First Steps comic revealed, or should we just save it? Because again, I don't even know if it's actually in the movie.
I'm not gonna read it, so I don't care. That's up to Brandon.
Just save it. All right.
I kind of want to go in blind.
Fair enough.
I'm jealous of you two.
Why?
Superman.
You're going on Sunday.
I'm hopefully.
Yeah, you guys are both going on
Sunday.
Oh.
Hopefully.
Make
it's
it happen.
Not guaranteed yet. I can't guarantee it.
Well, shit. I don't know.
In this area, if on a Sunday you don't get out and to where you are going by 11 o'clock, The church crowd will swallow you up in their massive attack at restaurants and shopping areas.
Like
just
Bible
every
thumping, or
person-
there's just like too many of them?
There's so many. It's like the whole everybody in the whole town comes out right after they get out of church until like dinner time, and then the streets are empty again. But that's the only time you get a good idea of how many people are actually in this town. Rest of it's like very, very, very hard to find parking. It's insane.
Yeah. Well,
What
time do the theaters open?
10 a.m.
Holy shit! All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but try to get my family out the door by 10 a.m. My ass is up at 7 in the morning. Regardless of if I want to or not. So I just can't get them to.
Well,
only on school days. If they don't have to go to school, they ain't getting out of bed.
Then they don't have to go see the movie. I don't know.
I may pose that as an ultimatum.
Yeah. That's what my dad always told me when I was taking too long to get ready. He says, "You have 5 minutes or I'm leaving without you." Okay, I'll hurry.
Yeah. Sounds just like my dad.
Yeah.
Very much like, when I'm at the door, I'm at the door. I'm not waiting for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are you guys ready to move on to the show?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm off my soapbox.
Yeah.
For soapbox. What about you, Rob?
I'm never off my soapbox, but I'll step off for now.
I recently did an ancestry test and found out that I am 100% soapbox.
Oh, actually, wait. There was one thing I wanted.
That's weird.
Sorry, it'll be very short, I promise. But I was at Midtown Comics for signing yesterday, which was very fun. I got to meet Rob Vendetti, who's freaking awesome, and I got him to sign a bunch of stuff. But it was there promoting a new book, Planet Death. Normally, I would never promote a bad idea book because I kind of am against everything that they stand for. I do actually kind of like the books that they put out. They're usually pretty good. That's the trouble. Like, I like them, but I don't really want to support them. But anyway, no, it's a new book from Rob Venditti and Tomas Giorello, who's incredible. Basically, for anyone who read the Valiant books a few years ago, it's like the same artists and writers from those books, just doing like entirely new stories and universes and everything. But no, it's really cool, and just has amazing art. And I got.
And why do we hate Bad Idea Comics?
From Lionel Yu, who's very underrated. Sorry, what was the question?
Why do we hate Bad Idea Comics?
Because they're kind of a gimmick.
Okay.
They would sell their comics in a very unconventional way. They were completely anti-trade paperback, which is like a cardinal sin in the industry. They were doing a lot of like, it's not scams because it's all up and up. It's more like the fact that people would fall for it was ridiculous. Like, show up to this booth and you'll get a 1 in 50 bad idea donut, and then someone will try and sell it on eBay for $100,000 or something. That's probably not much, but I don't know, just a lot of gimmicky stuff. And then I think the biggest point of contention was the price, because sometimes you'd be paying like $7.99 for a 30-page comic, and they are very well made. Like, they have a nice glossy matte cover and everything. It's well produced.
It looks like
there's no earth you're going to get someone to pay $8, but they seem to have slashed the price, which is kind of nice. I mean, it's still $6, but
that's not
to
bad,
their
dude.
other stuff, it could be much worse. But like, there were a few that I was just frustrating because I'm like, I like this book and I'd love to support it, but I'm not going to pay $8 for it. Like, the worst one for me was a book called Odin's Eye from Joshua Dysart, who's super underrated, and Tomas Giorello, the same artist, is doing this. And each issue was $7.99. And the only way that you could buy it was to buy it in a bundle, which meant you had to prepay for the 5-issue series where each issue is $7.99. So I don't have the math on me, but do $7.99 times 5. That's how much you'd have to pay. And then they would give you the books as they released. So you pay them $40 and then you wait for the books to come. And sometimes they would be delayed. And I was like, this is like the most ridiculous bullshit. But they know.
That's kind of dumb.
Yeah, it was like they know because like all those Valiant books were hits, at least for a while before they got bought out. So obviously they know they have an audience for it. And like if you announce that you have, I don't know, Matt Kint and David Latham doing a book, of course you're going to want to pick that up. But you got to be prepared to shell out $8 for it and hope you can find a store that actually stocks it. So I get it's hard starting a new comic book publisher. I can't imagine what that's like, but there's a big difference. Like for me, I think Distillery, the new publisher, is basically Bad Idea done right. They are more expensive, yes. They're about the same price, where those I think are like $8.99, but those are like
$9.
Those are like the European graphic album size books. Like I could grab a copy.
Distillery is good,
but it's worth it. It's worth it, right? Like you are actually getting your money's worth. If you were to go to Barnes and Noble, I doubt they'd have them in stock, but buy those old band dessinays of Tintin, you'd probably be paying the same price, right? So you're getting your money's worth for about 60 pages for $9. Whereas this is like a third of the content at the same price. See what I mean? So that's the controversy.
They call themselves Bad Ideas because of the Bad Idea comics, because of the they came in Bad Idea because they came into it. That's how they got their investors. They were like, we're going to come at it marketing like never before. We're going to market to people now. We're not just going to get lifelong comic fans. We're trying to get new ones. That sounds like a bad idea to any comic fan, but to an investor,
that
it doesn't. And
that
that's
and
what they've done. They
and speculators and stuff.
Kind of
I don't know,
like the viral, trendy kind of method of marketing. And while it's definitely unconventional, it's not unsuccessful. I'm not gonna hate on them for it. They definitely, if I'm not mistaken, didn't their very first book release get kicked off by them protesting themselves?
That I don't remember.
I think they did.
Yeah, I don't know. There may have been a boycott or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's actually the funny thing, because the first book they put out, I think, was ENIAC 3 years ago, and that was like a lure. That was like $3.99, so actually reasonably priced, and the first issue was oversized. And I was like, wow, this is like kind of cool. Like I was able to find a shop in DC where I was over the summer and pick it up, and I was like, oh, I don't understand the hate. Like I love Matt Kint and Doug Braithwaite is great. Like this book seems awesome. And then the rest of the shenanigans started, and I was like, you know what? I understand why people hate this. I really do. I think they've relaxed the gimmicks a little bit. They're actually putting out a trade paperback, so they're breaking their own policy. So,
right on.
I think they realized some of the mistakes, restructuring a little bit, trying to reel people back in. Not that they ever needed to. Like, I think. Okay, this is the last point because I don't want to keep going on tangents, but I think if they wanted the success that they would eventually achieve through gimmicks, what they could have done, what they should have done, was just let it grow naturally. Start by attracting the Valiant crowd, because you know there's going to be a group of people who are like, I know these people. They did Exo Mana War and that Great Harbinger book.
Harbinger too. Hell yeah.
You know, oh wow, you have Rob Venditti of not
Why
just.
do you keep calling him
Lantern.
Rob Venditti like you know this motherfucker? Do you know Robert Venditti?
I mean, he goes by Rob Venditti, so I don't know. It's not just me.
It's like just say it's like I'm calling Tom Taylor. You're just like every time you mention him, you just say Tom. I'm like, oh,
I kind of do that too.
For a couple of them.
I don't know. It's very weird. Anyway, but yeah, you already have someone like him, and it's like, oh wow, he just did Green Lantern, and also 50 issues of Exo Man of War. Like that should be enough to sell. What is it? The Tankers book that I got signed. But no, they had to rely on gimmicks and stuff. So I don't know. My thing is like, I wish they had lowered the price, relied less on gimmicks, attracted a small audience, kind of like what AWA did, and then just let it grow, like through word of mouth. Because the funny thing is, when I would go to the shops that stored them, the people that were talking about them were like, the books are pretty good. It's just the people running the company are insane. But if the books themselves, like, they're fine. And if they were released at a moderate price and, were easier to find, I think people would have talked about it, and there would have been more of a word of mouth, and it probably would have helped the company grow a little bit. But that's just my 2 cents. All right, I'll shut up now.
You're muted, Josh.
Why do you keep muting me, Rob?
I didn't know such thing.
Charging $8 for an issue, charging $8 for an issue is insane. Charging $6 is not compared to average comic prices now.
Yeah.
Now,
No.
tell
Now.
14-year-old Josh that, and watch him have a heart attack. He'll just say,
not
well,
even
fuck
just
it,
that,
I'm done
like,
reading these now.
Yeah. No, that's the funny thing. Like, we say that now. We're like, oh, most comics are $5. That doesn't seem that bad. But think back to, if you can remember, 3 years ago, where that wasn't really the standard. 2022, we were just starting to transition to that, like, $3.99, $4.99 benchmark. So the idea of charging $5.99 and $7.99 is like sacrilegious.
Yeah, $8 is too much. $8 is too much. $3.99, $4.99. I was like, $4.99 is okay for an oversized issue. $3.99 for everything else. And that's fine by me. So I get it. I get the hate. I get why people don't like it. I get why, but if you take away that price thing, I'm not mad. I don't. Their gimmicky ass, insane way that they're doing stuff is their whole fucking thing. That's how they got their financial backing. It's their entire identity.
Well,
it's even their name.
Not exactly. They got their financial backing through like conventional means. Like they were able to get an investor.
Shit, yeah.
That was no Kickstarter. Surprisingly,
that's what I'm saying. They spent not Kickstarter. They that was their spiel to their investors. We're going to go after this, trying to get new customers using viral marketing campaigns.
I mean, possibly, but yeah, I don't know. I wish that the marketing side was not so reliant on gimmicks, because people seem to think that is the number one way to sell your books, is to get people talking about it in the worst way possible. Which, yes, some people will pay attention, but a lot more people will be turned off. So. Just like,
I mean, I'm with you there, and I don't like gimmicks. I think that they wore their heart on their sleeve when they came out of the gate with it. I like their stories.
I think they wore their wallets on their sleeves, is what you mean.
You go.
But sure. I think they wanted to make money because they
truth
probably
in advertising,
repay some debts. It's not cheap to print out comics.
Especially not that quality.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. The first issue of Odin's Eye was not $7.99. It was $9.99.
Ooh.
And every other issue, which was 32 pages, was $7.99. So there you go.
So pretty damn that's pretty damn expensive.
Yeah.
But okay, regular priced, and then one not regular priced book for us to talk about this week.
Y'all remember when DC was drawing the line at $2.99?
No, I remember when it became standard for $1.99 to be the cover price of a comic. I remember that crux. I remember that. I was there when it happened.
Robert, we talking about the first or the second time? We're talking about 2011 or 2016.
2011.
I have to wonder if they're ever going to do it again.
Wait, didn't they do it earlier
You
than
young
that
ones
too?
have no idea what a price jump is.
They did it.
Yeah,
I
you've
don't
probably
remember
seen
them
the worst
doing it in
of it,
2016.
From $2 to $4.
That was Rebirth. All the
They
books
did
were
it.
$2.99.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, that was a big selling point, and it was great for me because I had considerably less money in high school, so I was like $2.99. Let's go!
Yeah.
This is
What a
awesome.
steal!
What a steal!
$3
I
a
can
comic.
pick up Detective Comics and Red Hood and the Outlaws and Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps and all these titles, and I don't even have to pay a full $20.
Hell yeah!
And they're coming out twice a month. Yeah,
That's how they make up for their lack of sales.
Yeah.
2 books a month. Anywho, yes. Speaking of DC and money, let's get into our books.
Yes.
Finally.
You jabbering, chit-chattering heads. Stop your clucking.
I think our first book is perhaps the most expensive book.
Yeah. Yeah, with an apt title to go with it.
Said.
Treasury.
Yeah.
This is Superman Treasury 2025 Hero for All. As part of Summer of Superman.
On my copy, it says expensive for all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Look at this, though. There you go. Look at this size
$16
of this
for all,
thing,
but
though.
yeah.
$16?
I have to show this.
Yes.
I have to show this.
Jesus.
$14.99.
Wow.
Look at this.
That is
US.
massive.
Look at the
Rob.
size of my face.
I can't even imagine what it is Canadian right now.
And then look at the size of this book.
All right.
It
Like
is.
I can barely
huge.
put the whole thing into frame.
Yep.
That is
so
Traditional
big.
treasury size, but that I mean that's just massive, man. It's
What
nearly
does it-
the size of vinyl record.
Yeah.
Does it show you what the Canadian price is?
No.
It's $15 American, so I think it's like what
That'd
21
be
Canadian.
21 Canadian, yeah. So on our books, we have the Canadian and the US price. So we see how much it could be if we live down there.
Most of our books have the same thing. It'll say US and Canada on there too.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Brandon's just being rude and won't tell you.
No,
I'm
really.
I'm messing with him. I'm messing with him.
No, I
All
wish I
right,
could tell
man.
you. But
Let's go ahead and kick off episode 254.
Right. This is, like I said, Superman Treasury 2025 Hero for All oversized edition. Really big issue in size and page count.
Yeah.
And also creative team, I think. But
I mean, we've seen bigger, but this group of creatives,
yeah,
maybe big in terms of like
names,
I don't know, skill,
stature,
fucking right,
skill, yeah. And the creative team is written by Dan Jurgens with art from Bruno Redondo, also cover by Bruno Redondo, yeah.
Yep.
Ink assists from Caio Felipe, colors from Adriano Lucas, and letters from Dave Sharp.
Did you just call him Caillou?
Huh?
Did you just call him Caillou? Or did I mishear you?
You misheard me.
Okay.
The fuck? I did not say Caillou. And then there is another sequence in the middle of the book that is titled The Resurrection Sequence with art from Dan Jurgens, Brett Breeding, and Adriano Lucas. It is a big book, but it can be summed up very simply, which I will do in the simple manner. Otherwise, I'll be here for the whole episode talking about this book. Superman has to fight a gigantic fucking robot in the middle of Metropolis, and it is surprisingly easy for him to take it out, but something doesn't feel right as he gets a sense that something is happening in outer space, and he heads up into the sky and disappears. And he is not seen again after that for quite a while. And in that time, an alien invasion sweeps across the Earth, attacking all cities, all major cities at once. The heroes are spread thin. Nobody can find Superman, and they need him to help. Because, as it turns out, the villains that are controlling this alien army are none other than Maxima and Hank Henshaw, the cyborg Superman. And as it turns out, while he was out in outer space, they did capture him and trapped him in a machine which made him see an alternate reality where he didn't really become Superman necessarily. Lex Luthor ended up marrying Lois. His father died in a tornado when he was a kid, and he just lived his life a very different fashion. But eventually he realized things are not right. None of this makes sense. Him and Lex are supposed to be best friends growing up together. And it doesn't make sense. And that was the catalyst to help him break out of the machine. He remembers his history, and that's the resurrection sequence we see. And it is a beautiful sequence. If you love Dan Jurgens' art, you will enjoy it immensely. It is a slideshow, basically, of all the major moments in Superman's life over the past, 90 years? 85 years, yeah. I think, still at this point.
I wish I could throw it up and just show everybody page by
yeah,
I wish
it is
I could.
Gorgeous.
It is so good.
Yeah. And then he breaks out of the machine, heads down to Earth, and joins the heroes to take down Maxima and Cyborg Superman and save the day once and for all. And that's where our issue ends. It is a lot of story when you're reading it, even though it can be summed up very simply, but it is still a heck of a story.
So I felt
it
like
does take place during the Rebirth era. I need to say that now because John is there as a kid.
John,
yeah.
Or I mean, is this just its own continuity?
I took it because it's being written by Dan Jurgens, and he was writing, I want to say Superman. It's not Action Comics, but Superman during Rebirth.
Action Comics. Superman was Tomasi and Gleason.
Oh, okay, that's okay. I couldn't remember which creators he was doing which. Okay, so he was doing Action Comics during Rebirth, and he also had a hand in creating John Kent and bringing him to life. So I could see this taking place in his mind during his own action run, or his last action run.
I guess I say that too.
Way I'm completely okay with, because this exists.
Yeah.
As a standalone story.
Right. I bring up the its own continuity just because Superman's suit would be inconsistent with that.
Yeah, that's the only.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Good catch.
Because he didn't put on the trunks until Bendis took over. So it wouldn't really
didn't
make
you?
sense. Yeah. That was a big draw. Remember? It was like, the trunks are back. You can't have Superman without the trunk.
Yeah, but you're not going to want to look at him because Jar Jar's drawn him.
He just gotten that new costume in Superman Reborn, and everyone was like, this is the perfect marriage of the no trunks but still has the cool belt aspect. And I got rid of it in a year.
I could have sworn.
Could have swore what?
Yeah, no.
I liked both that design.
Huh,
and
so yeah.
I liked the new 52 design too. I know.
Makes me feel bad.
You're weird.
Just I just wasn't mad at the majority of the new 52 redesigns, but that can be
legit. I forgot about this costume
Lobo
design.
Light, Diet Lobo.
Really? Oh man,
it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
I forgot about this.
Are you having some memory fogs as well?
Yeah,
or maybe it's just been
so long.
About
the belt. It's been so long. The last costume I remember was like the current one, but he had the weird cuffs.
Wait, okay. You know what? I can't even be like, how do you not remember that, bro? Because I just had a moment. I was like, that was 7 years ago.
Yeah. Or remember when I was saying, like, it doesn't make sense that Captain America comes back and, like, the timeline doesn't make sense because that kid was there at 9/11 and now he's an adult and the timeline doesn't make sense. And wait, 9/11 was 24 years ago. What the fuck? It doesn't make sense.
I hate time.
Right? That's why I was like, the timeline of this doesn't make sense because, like, how could this kid have grown up so much?
No, it ain't.
And then I remembered I was 11 when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
I'm 35 now.
you were probably around that kid's age. Mm-hmm. So again, assuming that story takes place a decade later, you would have been roughly his age when he was Captain America.
Yeah.
You were 11. I had kids already.
Yeah, I can't imagine how you feel. I don't think I want to. I'm already feeling not good about time passing.
I couldn't, like, when that happened, and this is like, you know, as per the usual, we're getting sidetracked, but where I lived at the time, which was it was where I was raised as a small kid. I was back there working and I go into work, or well, I watch it right before I go into work. Like, it happens right as I have to leave the house and drive to go to work. So I leave my kids and their mom and the two neighbors who are in my apartment freaking out and bawling, and I drive into work, and I helped manage a pizza joint, a local pizza joint, and I went in there, and my boss and his entire family and a whole bunch of customers and the entire staff are all just sitting there bawling. So, like, I never got a chance to even fucking process a goddamn thing to do with 9/11. I instantly had to go into nanny mode.
Man, I would have just been so mindless driving into work. I can't even imagine that. Just been completely head empty.
Yeah, it was like,
that's
what
fucking nuts,
the fuck? Just because I only saw the first plane hit before I had to leave.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about the second plane hit. And I'm like, I can't fucking believe that shit fucking happened.
Bro.
And then I got to work and you know, terrorist attack and two planes and the whole world.
God damn. Yeah. That's insane.
Yep. So I ended up having to take care of like 25 fucking people. And like a week later, after the whole town calmed down, I'm like, that's it. They started selling those decks of cards and shit. But that's
so even when you left home, you still had to play dad.
I've never not played dad since I became a dad. Since I was 16.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, buddy. We figured it out with the total number of children that I have, the stepchildren that I have had and the amount of other children that I have helped raise. The total number is 19.
Damn.
Jesus, man. God. No wonder I'm white. I don't know how this is even like, I mean, this is like almost non-existent. I don't know how there's anything there.
Jesus. What a life. You should have a comic book about you.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, but who would draw it? It's been so nuts. The only thing that would make sense is Riley Rosmo, and I won't let that happen.
I don't know. I don't know enough about like your whole life, but I'm imagining something that's like kind of realistic, kind of gritty, like Derek Robertson or John Wayshak or something. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be kind of wicked.
Otto Schmidt.
Ooh. Yeah, that could be that would be pretty visceral, awesome. I should think. Or
you said gritty, and that was the first name that popped in my head.
Jock.
Yeah.
Jock. Oh
Jock,
my god. Yeah, that would be fucking crazy. Hell yes, I'd be honored. Oh my god. Are you kidding me? Like,
It would be almost
I
impossible.
put together my top 5. I put together my top 10 artists of all time, and I'm going to forget to put Jock in there 9 times out of 10. But Jock like exists in his own category, like Riley Rosmo does. But Jock is in a good way.
Yeah.
It would be almost impossible, but it would be something I like. I could see Simon Bisley doing too. You know, I think that would be really cool. Just imagine.
I wish my life was nice enough to have Simone DeMeo or not Simone. Is it Simone? It's Simone, right?
No. What do you mean? Oh, Simone DeMeo?
Yeah, Simone DeMeo.
Oh yeah, the artist
or
now.
Sweeney Boo.
Oh.
I wish my life.
I was gonna say I feel like Simon Bisley would be perfect because imagine your life being drawn by like one of the first Lobo artists. Like that'd be crazy.
You have no idea how fucking awesome that would make me feel. Oh, I forgot his name. Hold on. Val Semix. Semix?
Oh,
how do you say his last name?
I usually say Val Semix, but
Semix?
I don't know if that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Man. I have the one. I have the perfect one, and now I won't be able to think of anyone else. If I had to choose one person to illustrate your life, who I think could capture all of the many aspects, those I know about and those I don't, it would be Doug Mankey.
Oh my god. Yes. I fucking co-sign.
I wish I could write that. Like I don't really know all the details of your life, but I do a full like Alex Haley type interview, and I just be like, all right, Doug, let's get to work. You know, draw like a 400-page graphic novel.
Let's go. All of it should be assumed to be fictional. Let's go.
Yep.
How do y'all
this
feel?
Story is based on fictional events. Wink.
First, let's wrap up our thing about Superman.
Yeah, we're getting way off track again.
I was just gonna bring up an artist for who could draw your life, but the more I look at the art, because I know a lot of the stories he drew are not well favored, and then the more I look at the art, I'm like, Brett Booth.
God,
I almost want to say.
I would almost say yes, and then I forget what it is about him that I don't like, but there's something about him that I don't like.
Here's an image of Superman. That'll remind you.
It's got to be from what's that art called? Don't tell me. I know it's from Action Comics. Booster Shot, right? Isn't that what that's called?
Well, yeah. This is Volume 5 when he was teaming up with Booster Gold. Yeah.
Yep.
Good eye.
I know my stuff.
Why we call him the librarian.
Yep.
But oh man, fucking treasury issue.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie.
Fucking tastic.
I'm going to your opinion first, Rob.
Fan fucking tastic book. Really good story. I'm no silent. What am I trying to say? I'm never silent when it comes to talking about Dan Jurgens, so I love this story right away.
I don't think there's anyone who loves Dan Jurgens more than you.
Which is wild. I did not think I was like Dan Jurgens' top fan, but I'll accept the honor. It is.
I really think you are.
Just crazy.
I've never heard anyone else talk about him with as much love and reverence as you do, so I feel like he might be at least top 5.
I've enjoyed almost everything I've seen written by him. I can't lie. It's fucking good. Yeah. Throw in art by Redondo, who was like the top one of, if not the top artist right now.
Oh, for sure.
And the treasury-sized book, no less.
Right?
Even if I fucking hate this book, I'm still gonna buy it. Yeah. Like, look at this. How could I not buy Bruno Redondo's art at this size.
Right?
That is literally my wet dream.
Would you call Redondo still an up and coming artist? Would you say he's established at this point?
Oh, that depends on the point of view that you have. Like as a fan, I'm gonna say his ass is fucking established. But like overall career wise, when you've got him stacked up against people that have been doing it 10, 15, 20 years, I mean, you know, are you looking at it time wise, or are you looking at it talent wise?
I'm looking at it like career wise.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, yes, he's definitely established. But when they were kicking off Nightwing a couple of years ago, maybe you could charitably call him an up and comer, even though he's been doing Injustice with Tom Taylor for years now.
Yeah,
but
forgot he did.
Yeah,
that.
I'm like, I would say this man is established. Like he's a hit maker.
Fair enough. Yeah, so throw in Redondo with Dan Jurgens, which is a hell of a team. It just works. It's a beautiful story that celebrates Superman realistically. It is also technically out of continuity, so you don't have to worry about overarching plots or connection issues or anything. It's just a great little Superman adventure that on its surface might feel very simple, but when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of it, it's got a lot of depth, it's got a lot of fun and adventure and just history for Superman, and it's a perfect jumping on point. I know it's an expensive book, but with the Superman movie coming out, it's being released at the perfect time, the same week the movie premieres. If anybody is new to comics or new to Superman, this is the book you want to pick up, because this is going to be everything you need to introduce yourself to the character before you go see the movie.
And I don't know, I just I was gonna save this for my portion of the review, but Rob, I'm 100% in agreement with you. And I think the actual composition of the book itself is so genius, because they knew, they're like, people who, I mean, it's been proven, I think, that a lot of people who see the movies don't necessarily go straight to the comic book shop, but there are definitely some people that do. And I think they recognize, like, okay, if we have a crop of people who maybe aren't as familiar with Superman but want to check out a quality story, who can we get that will write a solid, action-packed tale with incredible art? Got to get Dan Jurgens, because he's the man, and he could step in and write Superman, and it would be incredible no matter what era he's in.
Yeah. Who has written more Superman than Dan Jurgens at this point?
Like, no one who's alive, probably.
Nobody who's
maybe Carrie Bates.
He beat me to it.
I think Carrie Bates is still alive. I don't know, actually. Anyway, I don't think anyone else.
Anyone else?
Certainly. I said I don't think there's anyone else. Certainly, no one else who has spent as much time writing and drawing Superman, except for maybe Siegel and Schuster.
Which even them, they I don't. If I remember right, I could be very wrong, but they weren't on the character for an extended period of time either, were they?
They did it for years.
Yeah, like a decade. But
obviously,
I don't think they were only. I mean, like in the first half decade, maybe they were exclusively writing and drawing, but I know they got other artists to step in and do issues from time to time, you know, to meet deadlines and stuff. But, you know, someone like Dan Jurgens, he was like pretty much writing and drawing it for like 5 or 6 years. I don't know. My timeline could be wrong on that, but you look at the period between like 1992 and 2000, and he's everywhere writing and drawing, which is so.
While he's done that, I'm going to start calling that the Campbell method, though. Between Jamal and Sophie doing this.
I feel like it should be the Dan Jurgens method, because it's kind of, they're taking after him. He was the first one to do it. Well, not the first
Good point.
one to do it, obviously, but he was certainly the one to do it in prominence in the 90s during Superman.
Far better than the Marvel method.
And the volume alone that he had to take on, because that he wasn't. I don't think he was drawing Death of Superman, right?
Completely.
I mean,
he was just writing.
Yeah, no, only certain issues. But I mean, Superman 75 is written, drawn, and not colored, but written and drawn by him.
Oh, okay.
That's like the actual issue where he dies. Yeah.
I just remember
Yeah, it was
in my trade of it. There was like a list of, because it was like 4 different titles.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. Because there
was like
there
a
was
huge list of creatives.
that whole Triangle era had a battalion of Superman books, literally.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was at one point 4 different books, hence your 4 different Superman. Ah, can you imagine 4 different Superman books?
We're close.
I don't have to imagine.
Josh can.
I was
He
there
was
when the
actually
shit happened.
Yeah.
I was like,
can't.
oh my god.
Don't quote the old
4
words to
different books.
him. He was there when they were written.
Like, I have
You
no
were
idea
there.
how the fuck I'm going to afford all of the food need and comics I
And
need
not
to buy.
just there, but
Comics is
Yeah.
coming first.
Yeah.
not just there, but there and reading it. Like,
All right.
Yep.
man.
Proofread the 10 Commandments. I don't know what the fuck.
Fuck you. If I proofread them, they would have been better than that.
So, but even like right now, yeah, we're not far
no,
from
it's-
4 books. We got super not unnamed the Dan slot.
Wait, sorry, you kind of cut out for a second.
yeah, Rob, it looks like your signal's a little low there. Oh, yeah. Now we can't even.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
There we go.
Yeah.
Am I back?
Yeah, you were getting
Think
kind of
so.
choppy
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I think I might have got like a. I think I might have got a blip on my internet or something, because even the camera is like reset for a second
That
there.
was weird.
Yep.
That was weird.
But yeah,
Looks
you were
like you're
saying
good
we're
now.
not
You've
that,
got yellow. That'll do.
All right.
Yeah.
I
not that
was
far
saying
off.
we are close to 4. We got Superman Action Comics, whatever the Dan slot title is. This is not Superman Unchained, right? I don't remember what.
No.
Unlimited.
Unlimited,
Superman
yeah.
Unlimited. Yeah.
Unlimited, right.
So we're just missing one more, and we have 4 Superman books again, right?
Yeah.
I think
I'm
it's
sure
time
one's
for
coming
Man of
down the
Steel to come
pipeline.
back.
Oh boy.
I agree. Yeah.
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 Written
Yeah.
by
Can
Dan
it be a
Jurgens.
can it be a John Henry Irons book though?
I honestly I would love for them to have a Steel or Steelworks book, but also bring back that title, Superman, the Man of Steel, and bring in, I don't know, like someone freaking awesome to do that book. You know,
Chip Starsky.
get like Ram V or Dennis
Oh,
Camp or Zdarsky. I was thinking about that too.
Dennis Camp would be
Yeah.
cool.
I don't know. Yeah, just bring in like someone totally unexpected. New Superman
Rom
book.
V,
Take
I'm not against, but like I know if Rom V's doing it, he's gonna have one huge fucking story that he's gonna do. But what I want from the 4 books is another Triangle era, right? I want these 4 books to intertwine. I want these 4 books to interact. Right? We got a little bit of that with Superman in Action right now, but Superman Unlimited is just doing its own thing.
Can the Man of Steel be can the Man of Steel be gritty and emotional and like a little more mature in tone?
No, it can only be hard like steel.
Well,
I mean, it could be whatever it wants to be.
Dirty
you know?
as fuck.
But
okay, so
I just
somebody
think it should be something completely different.
Yeah.
Something completely different.
Yeah.
Ed Brubaker.
Yeah. I've always wondered what it would be like if it did Superman. But again,
Thank you.
That's never. You've brought it up a few times, and you know I hate to burst your bubble, but the dream will never come true.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it won't happen. It's one of those comic dreams I have that I will never get to see. But
I know. Trust me, I have those too. Not a day goes by where I don't think about how pimp it would be to have Rick Remender and Jerome Pena do Green Lantern, but that will never, ever happen. A million years.
Oh. Damn.
No.
That'd be dope.
I had this whole like idea in my head. This was back when I was like, I would develop pitches, but I was like, I shouldn't write it. I'll let someone else who's better write it. And I had this idea of like, it would be kind of like the early 1990s Green Lantern series, where it would shift the focus. So it would basically be like you would have Hal for one issue, Kyle for another issue, John for another issue, and Guy for another issue. It was just going to be the four cores, and it would be kind of like an overarching story, but told from 4 different perspectives. But it would really give him a chance to flex the different voices, and that was the thing that I was most keen on. But
which is kind of what Jeremy Adams is doing with Green Lantern Corps right now.
Yeah, sort of. But I think, my idea was like you have a central threat, and they're all coming at it from different angles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, DC, hit me up. I'm very cheap. I'll write it for you.
I've been saying for years that a lot of books should just go in that direction. Green Lantern, definitely one of them.
Yeah.
The artist with Brubaker, Alvaro Martinez Bueno.
Oh, gosh.
That'd be pretty wicked.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be Superman. Now I just want to see them do a book together.
I won't lie. I mean, obviously they've worked together how many times by now, so it's nothing new. But I would love to see him and Sean Phillips knock off a Superman something. That'd be awesome.
Oh, God, yeah.
Even if it's super noir.
I wouldn't care. That'd be fine.
Shit. Brubaker and Sean Phillips, yeah.
Yeah. Or honestly, you know who I'd like to see take another crack at Superman? Because I feel like the timing just wasn't right for him. Greg Rucka. Rucka just knock it out of the park, and it would be great. I know it, but I don't think that'll happen again. I think he's kind of moved on. Not from doing superhero stuff, just doing the ongoing grind. Yeah.
All right. Well, from me, I went into Treasury expecting, I'm going to be honest, fan service schlock that would aggravate me to no end. And instead, I got a really good classic modern Superman story. It's interesting, action-packed, dialogue was spot on, and then you add to that Redondo and Lucas, and it's fantastic. It far exceeded my expectations. 8.5 out of 10.
9 out of 10 for me.
Wonderful, man.
Yeah, this one gets an 8.75 out of 10 for me. It was already going to get above an 8.5 because I'm like a total whore for these oversized books. I always have been. I always will be. And I love my floppies, but I'm so in love with the giant size books. And if there ever came an era where I was only buying giant size books, I think I would still be just as happy, if not more so. But no, just really solid story. And I love that. I hope DC continues embracing just doing these, I don't know, fun, giant, oversized one-off stories. It doesn't even have to be a mini series. It should be a giant one-shot like this. It's like, okay, cool, we can do that. Put together a top-tier creative team and just put it out there and have people eat it up, because I'm totally in favor of that. The only thing that's keeping this from a 9 for me is, and Rob is about to attempt to strangle me through the screen. So,
oh god,
I'm perhaps not as big of a Dan Jurgens fan as you. I do very much love his Superman stuff from the 90s, but I think you're on a whole different level. I consistently think his art is always great, especially when he's teamed up with Brett Breeding, who's like one of his best inkers. But I have to concede, I don't think it looked as good in this book next to Bruno Redondo. Not that it was bad, I just don't think it gelled as well, in my opinion.
That you could say with any artist next to Bruno Redondo, though.
I know. It felt like when I got to it, I was like, oh, this feels kinda...
it is a little jarring to see a difference, but then it also, I get what you're saying too, because for me it was jarring at first, and then I look at it like, ooh, but it's Dan Jurgens, okay, I love it now. Whereas somebody else who isn't as big of a Dan Jurgens fan are going to be like, oh, okay, this is just
all right,
weird.
All right.
Yeah.
I told you he was going to strangle me. I completely agree with you. I think it just kind of caught me off guard, and I don't know that it flowed as well. But
I get that.
No hate. Okay, I love his art. I do. No hate.
No hate. Only love.
And I think it looked especially great with the colors in here. I forget who was doing it, but
The colors in
Jergens
Treasury.
portion?
Adriano Lucas.
Yeah, in the Jergens
Right,
section.
right,
Oh,
right,
okay. Yeah.
Well, you guys want to stop talking about Superman and start talking about Superman?
No,
That's a little misleading.
I
We're
want to
gonna
talk about
talk
Superboy.
Superboy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Superboy. My personal favorite. Now, this is the one for me. I have loved Superboy since I was a Superboy.
Hell yeah.
Now I am just a man. No longer
Superman.
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
I guess I
just
my...
saw your step count.
What he didn't tell us is he did that in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, God, I wish. Man.
Do you have any idea how many big belly burgers you'd have to eat to compensate for doing that in 20 minutes?
Right?
Dude. If only. If I had the metabolism to eat that many. Oh,
That's
man,
what I'm saying.
That'd be the dream.
Right?
Anyway.
Barry has
if we're ready
convinced me
for
that
some,
forensic scientists are nearly millionaires just with the amount of money he's got to spend on food.
Right.
I mean, you got to figure those burgers are probably pretty cheap, you know? How much is a burger now at like a fast food joint? Like $6-7 maybe?
No, like 8 to 12.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're cheaper at Big Belly Burger. Who knows? Or maybe if you buy them in bulk, they have like one of those like, discount
can I
meals,
get a
like,
party pack, please?
Yeah, like if you get like a 20 pack of burgers or something, you know, for like a family gathering or whatever, and it's like $50. It's like, okay, I'll get 20 burgers. I'm just gonna eat them all though.
They just think Wally's this guy that caters events with Big Belly Burger.
Yeah. Little do they know, he's finished them off in like 5 seconds.
Event. He's the event. That's hilarious.
Oh boy. All right. Some Superboy.
Superboy.
All right. Action Comics number 1088. Written by Mr. Mark Waid. Art by Skylar Patridge. Colors by Yvonne Placencia. And letters by Steve Wands. This one I can actually get through pretty quickly as well. Not a ton of content, but definitely some stuff to discuss. And a cover by Ryan Sook. Can't forget him. Phenomenal.
Yes.
But basically, the Daily Planet has broken the story on the mysterious superpowered child that was flying around in Metropolis after the was it the Tomorrow Expo or whatever it was called, giving him the name Superboy, which has now put him out in the public. And Martha and Jonathan have decided that both to provide some extra security for Clark's identity, but also allow him to develop his powers for 3 nights a week, 3 afternoons a week. They will let him go out and explore the world and be a Superboy. And we have a whole montage of him going to various different places while also figuring out how to get to those places, which Josh pointed out was pretty funny because he had to rely on a map in his early days, like an old person. But basically, this young Superboy is still kind of figuring himself out. And as every young person figuring themselves out, the absolute worst place to do that is high school. And yes, Clark is no exception, having to go to Smallville High School, trying to fit in, but not really doing a very good job. Although he has at least one solid friend in one Pete Ross, but still kind of deals with the usual bullshit and has a bully that's kind of picking on him, some guy named Kenny. And of course, Clark being the boy of steel at this point can't exactly fight back for fear of like shattering every bone and molecule in the guy's body. But Clark, first day of school, a little odd. Notices one particular teacher who kind of has a weird intensity, one named Mr. Blake, who just kind of gives bad vibes from the start. But things don't really kick off until a chemistry class later in the day, where the teacher accidentally starts a fire that really erupts and starts spreading fast throughout the school. And Clark first notices that the school doesn't have any kind of fire suppression systems, which is bad news for a fire that's spreading that fast. So he grabs the Smallville water tower.
For a school in general.
Yeah. But grabs the Smallville water tower and dumps water on the whole thing, kind of exposing his presence in Smallville in the process. But also, while doing this, overhears a conversation from the contractor or architect or whatever behind the renovation of Smallville's new building. Contractor, Josh would know, and finds out that this guy had been cutting corners and basically left out all the fire suppression stuff to save costs or whatever. Clark then shows up and is naturally pissed, smashes into his desk, and has a moment where he's about to lose control and just presumably beat the crap out of this guy, but has a moment of sanity and decides to come back and apologize, saying that he overstepped for a minute and shouldn't have been as violent as he was, but did give evidence to the police, who are going to arrive shortly. Back at the Kent farm, Clark is getting kind of chastised by Jonathan for exposing himself to the public, but Clark is really more frustrated with the fact that this guy might get away with it, like Josh said, and not suffer any consequences for his crimes. But they can't really unpack that further as someone arrives at the door, and hey, it's the weird, creepy teacher from earlier, a man named Mr. Blake, who informs the Kent family that he's not here to see any of them. He's here to talk to Superboy, and that's where our issue ends. What a mystery. Glenn, if you're listening, I know you probably won't like this book, as I know you are not a fan of Superboy. I, however, have been a fan of Superboy for years, and I don't think I got to talk about last month's issue, but I feel ill-equipped to talk about this book because I'm naturally biased, because I love the concept of Superboy and that part of Clark's canon, and going back to that era and seeing him figure out how to be Superman is something that I will never not love. But to have it done by Mark Waid, sold. So this book is an automatic win for me. But now that we get the reveal, I presume, of the mysterious person from the previous issue's cliffhanger, I have a few theories on both who that might be and also what their purpose might be. But we can possibly get into that later. For now, I'll give my score 8.75 out of 10. Love this book. More Superboy, please.
More Superboy, please.
Yeah, I will never have a problem with Superboy.
Well, I wasn't expecting this one either. While flashbacks, especially Superboy flashbacks, are pretty damn hit or miss for me, this was all hit. Beside the art and the colors, which I am a huge fan of, the story was really interesting. It was cool to see Gleanna come back, which is a character from Dan Jurgens, who wrote the Treasury. It was really interesting, man. Adding in someone that knows Clark's secret identity is a little annoying. I hate this shit. Like, it's Superboy, now we have a new person. But more of it. Before it ticks me off too much, I'll wait for next issue to see how it pans out. However, the rest, it doesn't need any time. This was really, really good. 8.25 out of 10. Actually, 8.5 out of 10. It goes up. I enjoyed this a lot. Thank you, Mr. Wade. Thank you. And Skylar Patridge.
Yeah, Skylar Patridge is doing a great job.
Oh yeah.
100%. Yeah, this has been a heck of a story arc. It's a really fun story. Is Mark Waid doing ongoing with this? I don't remember.
I think so. Yeah. I think they said he was going to just be the ongoing writer, but I don't know if it's going to be like just Superboy stories for the next year or so. They didn't really say.
Right.
Oh, he's the ongoing writer for that long? I thought he was just doing the summer.
No, because I think after Superstars, I think they said Mark Waid is just going to be the writer on Action from now on.
I needed him to write a fucking Superman and Superman only book. This is why I begged for Mark Waid to come back to DC Comics, and it is here.
All right. All right.
Yes. All right, man. That's dope. guys, does that shelf look like it's crooked?
Yes, yet
A little
again.
bit.
But it's not usually that one. That's usually the one that's straight. It's usually the one that's way up here that looks crooked sometimes. But like, no, this one looks crooked. Jesus,
At least slightly. It does kind of look like it's leaning a little bit, but it could just
that's messed
be
up.
where I said.
Oh boy. All right. Rob, did you give a score yet?
Not yet. No, I only just got started with my review.
Sorry.
The character at the end might be one you'd want to speculate about. I don't know if you've looked at any theories about it.
I have not. I was just going to straight up ask you guys if you had any theories.
Well,
normally I love speculating, but I haven't gotten a chance to.
The chatter that I've seen online, and I feel pretty safe in my guess, is that Mr. Blake is actually Mr. Adam Blake, aka one Captain
Comet.
I think honestly, when I got to the end of this issue, I was like, oh man, this might even be taking the extra step and incorporating some of Mark Waid's new history from New History of the DC Universe.
Yeah.
Hell yes. I am all about this. That would explain his personality. Damn.
Yeah, like why he's so
Captain
against
Comet.
Another super person coming out. Because now that we know he has his weird experience being on a super team, it's like, oh, maybe there's a reason why he'd be so anti-Superboy. I'm wondering if that's it, but that was the first thing that came to my mind. If it is Captain Comet,
that would be dope. And if it is Captain Comet, this issue is going to get a whole extra point higher.
We'll see next month, I guess.
Yeah.
The cover for the next issue, the silhouette does look a lot like Captain Comet.
Oh man, that's exciting. Okay, well, like if it's Captain Comet, this book's getting a 9.5.
Well, we don't know yet.
We don't know yet. For now, it is getting an 8.5. It is
Brandon.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, this is a really cool story, really cool arc. I'm still in love with this whole thing still being a backdrop of Clark just reminiscing about his childhood based off something that's happening in his life currently. I love that idea, and it's all going to tie in together at some point somehow. So I love it. 8.5 for now, 9.5 next month if it's Captain Comet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here is one last trip through the Super Fam. Supergirl number 3, written and drawn inside and out by Sophie Campbell of the Dan Jurgens Method, with colors from Tamara Bonvillain and lettering from Becca Carey. Supergirl is the hero again, and after donning purple and green, Lesla is a villain. They fight. Lesla turns Supergirl evil and then helps save her. Supergirl forgives her for being bad, and then Lesla's parents show up somehow from Kandor and are there to arrest the two of them. That's it. That's the whole book. The art is good. The writing is done well. I wish the story was more. I find myself saying that about every single female-led title from DC right now. Every single one, with the exception of being Poison Ivy, of course, including those that have been canceled. But that's another story altogether. The talent is there. The type of story is not. Not for me, anyway. I'll give respect where it is due, though, because there is some talent in this book. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Right on. I could definitely see, based on how this ended, I can see this giving us a lot more story in the next couple of issues. Potentially with, I don't want to say some crossover, because like Action's got its own thing going on, and Superman's got some pretty big stuff going on in the next couple of issues. But I think it's going to connect to some larger stuff soon. That's just my gut feeling right now. But for now, this is like issue 3 three-issue arc with Leslie Lar. It's pretty enjoyable, I think. Like the art is really good. The story, I think, was really interesting. The purple and green costume just solidifying Josh's.
Man, I'm not wrong.
But she also had orange,
like Supergirl,
right? So it's a whole thing of like
malicious,
primary and secondary colors. Yeah. So when she became the
Malice.
evil demon Supergirl, I only
Satan
saw
Girl.
Bleeze,
Yes.
the Red Lantern. Malice definitely, yeah, but I more so saw Bleeze because Supergirl was also a Red Lantern for her time.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just figuring out where the hell the rest of my notes, like where I was in my notes. I mean, yeah. Well, that brings me to Satan Girl. Interesting. I every time Kryptonite shows up, I have to go back and like check and see what each Kryptonite does, and like it's not 100% accurate, but it's one of the descriptions. It also say like sometimes it'll have adverse effects on a person, just make them turn evil. So okay, yeah.
I was trying to think. Was there black kryptonite in All-Star Superman? Because I remember the issue that focuses on
when did
Jimmy
that come
Olsen, 2005 to like 2007 or something. But
Probably
I remember there's the issue
then.
that focuses on there's the issue that focuses on Jimmy Olsen, and there's some kind of version of kryptonite that basically turns Superman evil, but I can't remember what color it was.
It maybe might have been black, because Black Kryptonite apparently first came out in Smallville, the TV show.
Yeah,
first debuted in that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So like I don't know what season.
Kryptonite trivia when I was making that Jeopardy show for us.
Yeah. I don't know what season it debuted in, and that show ran from 2001 to 2011.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So it really depends on the timeline there.
Yeah.
Black turns evil, red does the anger, but they both have variations from what I understand.
Yeah.
What's the black has other adverse effects, but I guess you could say the same shit for red kryptonite too.
Yeah, I mean, what I found was what the main effect of black does. It separates a being between a good personality and evil personality, splits them into two people. That's what I read. But then another effect could possibly be it just turns them demon-like what happened to Supergirl.
Yeah, no, I think the first one's right, actually.
No, the first one is right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then there was it also listed like other possible side effects may include
turning them evil.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah. And it still kind of worked in this because even though Satan Girl was taking over the body, the mind of Kara was still in the background there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, almost like
I'll
a
accept
Black
it.
Lantern.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really enjoyed this book. I'm really enjoying the story so far. I enjoyed this issue. It is going to get an 8.25 out of 10.
It is Black Kryptonite. Okay, that's cool. Interesting. Wow. Okay. So yeah, I guess they must have taken it from Smallville. That is very interesting.
It didn't take long for the Black Kryptonite to make its way to the comics.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, no, according to this, during the rescue, a piece of Black Kryptonite comes out from the Underverse. While at first no effects are felt by Superman, he slowly starts turning angry and is soon filled with a violent, uncontrollable anger. This is All-Star Superman number 4.
Right on.
Huh. The more you know.
Yeah. All right, well, the one thing we didn't talk about was green kryptonite. That was a horrible transition. I'm so sorry. Yeah, whatever. It's Green Lantern Corps.
Definitely is.
Yeah. Right. This is co-written by Morgan Hampton and Jeremy Adams with art from Amake Noelpan, colors from Arif Prianto, letters from Dave Sharp, and the cover from Fernando Pazarin, Auclair Albert, and Arif Prianto. So we have 2 stories running concurrently in this one, where we have Joe and Jess heading off into space, where Joe gets Jess out from behind the desk of her director's desk. I mean, I was gonna say the director of the Green Lantern Corps, but it just seems a little too formal. Yeah, she is the current director of the Green Lantern Corps. Joe's getting her out from behind the desk to get out, stretch her legs, and just breathe a little bit because she looks like she's getting really fucking stressed. And they do that and come across Mogo, seemingly by complete accident. But Mogo is just fucked up. He's literally coming apart, cracking at the seams after what happened during I don't remember what the name of the story arc was now. The last big crossover event for Green Lantern.
Civil Corps.
Civil Corps. Where he was imbued with the power of a Red Lantern. He's just not. Is quote unquote a shell of his former self. They descend to the planet and try to reason with Mogo, but he is not listening. Jess is able to get into Mogo's head and talk him down, and that actually starts to work, and he begins to heal a little bit further. Our second story is all about Sinestro, where he has been tasked by Jess to go to Korugar as other lanterns are going to other planets. They need nth metal and they need resources to help build these other power batteries that they're going to use to contain the wild spectrum. And the theory, if you don't remember, is that if they can build these other batteries to contain the emotional spectrum, it won't go so crazy, and it's also going to prevent Starbreaker from making his core. So she has tasked Sinestro with going to Korugar to sift through the remains of the Yellow Lantern battery and take whatever he can back to Oa. So he heads off and is stopped by Vexaru, the newest recruit that we saw in issues 1 and 2, I believe, maybe 3 as well. She wants to join him for some training, and he happily obliges because he has a new student. They head straight to Korugar. He gives her the skinny on what to expect, and they get there, and it's not what he expected at all. The place is beaming. It is glowing. It is full of civilization and life, and that is actually all thanks to the Sinister Sons, who he left a few issues ago, I think, in Green Lantern, to help take care of the city, take care of the planet, rather, and they did just that. Sin Sun, alongside Lord Zod, were able to use the remains of the Yellow Lantern battery and build a battery for the planet, which powers things in perpetuity, and it's just made the planet fucking amazing. Sinestro says, "That is great. Now dismantle it, because I need those parts." And they get into a fight. It does not go well for the boys, but Sin Sun is actually able to get an upper hand on Sinestro and proving his mettle against him. He has a bit of control with his red rage powers, but Sinestro is able to still overcome that. But Sin Sun gives him a little bit of a speech, talks him down, and says, "You left this to me, and I'm going to do what I can to help it. This is your planet too. You should care." That gets through to Sinestro, and with that, he says, "Okay, keep the battery, keep up the good work. I'm proud of you." And together they head back to Oa. Meanwhile, Starbreaker is just missing one component to power his own lantern battery, and then the Starbreaker Corps can begin. And that continues next month with Starbreaker Supremacy, which begins in Green Lantern number 25. So, where to begin? The Sinestro being a main character in this and being a Green Lantern again is something I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
I fucking love it.
I kind of like it too, but at the same time, just like, has this been earned by Sinestro? Did he earn this?
really, but
Not really.
I will say this: one of the most entertaining parts of the New 52 Green Lantern was seeing Sinestro as a Green Lantern again.
Yeah.
Basically teaming up with Hal and almost like in a back to basics approach where they're, working as partners again. And there's something about seeing him in that position, having to restore order, but kind of in his own way with his own snark and attitude that is, I don't know, it's just really entertaining. So seeing him team up with someone like Vexaru, who is newer, while also, dropping all these hints that when I was running Korugar, it was great, but now it's destitute because I'm not running it anymore.
Right.
Only to find out that it's like much better.
They see me as a god. Don't gawk at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I mean. Like, he hasn't changed in the slightest. He's still the same as he always was, and yet here he is palling around with the heroes. It just doesn't feel right. And don't get me wrong. I love the fact that he's a Green Lantern again, and it's a very interesting dynamic change, but it doesn't feel earned.
Sinestro, Hal knows, and John knows, that Sinestro's personality is never going to change because it's always been like that.
As far as they know.
That doesn't mean that he has to always be the villain. He lost Korugar. He's lost everything. He lost his fucking... Well, he lost his identity when he lost that yellow ring.
Yeah, he lost
got
Aaron
confused
Sir.
as shit and lost control with when he developed those fucking rage powers.
Yeah.
Hal knows he's not going to be a different person, but I think he knows that Sinestro ultimately wants what's best for the universe, and
that's
ultimately Korugar.
Yeah,
and I think it's a little bit of necessity, like for however much ego. I don't know. It's like for however much of an ego Sinestro has, and however much he's a dick to work with, like there is a reason he was called the greatest Green Lantern before Hal stepped onto the scene. I think they know that, and they kind of have to utilize that to stabilize the emotional spectrum.
It would be folly not to.
They do need the firepower right now as well.
Yeah.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, etc., etc. Fair enough.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Well, so it is a very interesting dynamic. I love seeing the Sinister Sons back again. I was a huge fan of that little book. I hope it's not the end of their story, though it does feel like an ending for Sin Sun right now, though I feel like there's a lot more for Lord Zod to go through, and I feel Sin Sun is going to be by his side the entire time. My biggest regret for these characters is that they never got a chance to fight Damien and John as kids, because that would have been fucking epic. But I digress.
Maybe they'll have another time travel shenanigan or something.
Maybe. Can only hope.
Yeah.
Jess and Joe was a very simple little one, but it was very cool to see Mogo back again. Mogo is on its way back, hopefully going to rejoin the Corps.
They're way back. Mogo is a being. He is not. It is not. They are not an it. God damn it! I fucked that. Never mind. Continue on.
You did.
I fucked that all kinds of.
I guess I've never thought about whether or not Mogo has a gender.
I mean, the whole time I was doing the synopsis, I was saying he.
Planet.
It's not a
yeah.
It's a they.
Well, we'd have to ask Mogo. Yeah. I saw a comedy clip the other day of somebody saying that their pronouns could include it. So
let's go to the DC Wikipedia.
Let's go to.
Let's figure this out.
It's like if you don't know, just say that. Don't call a living being it.
It's
like
maybe like Mogo doesn't have any pronouns. Maybe Mogo is just Mogo.
Mogo is probably Mogo.
Yeah.
I would assume when Mogo talks in the first person, in the third person.
Yeah.
I think
Mogo.
Well, as we know,
Mogo says I at least. Yeah, Mogo does not socialize. I don't know. I distinctly remember posting a panel on the Green Lantern subreddit not too long ago of a time when Guy Gardner says, "Huh, what do you know? Mogo does socialize." Because he came to chat, or they came to chat. Mogo came to chat.
I'm just saying it's not an it, but I can't stop saying it when I say it's not an it.
Anywho, Mogo is back, and I'm hoping Mogo will be around to help in the Starbreaker Supremacy arc. And really cool to see Jess and Joe just pal around for a little bit, because we
haven't seen that pair
at
all.
They have no history together. Joe really doesn't have much history with anybody in the Green Lantern Corps as it is.
Yeah.
No, this is all
I like that. I mean, I was still kind of a little nervous about Joe being integrated into the main universe because I didn't want her to just become, another background lantern. But I appreciate that since her introduction, since the run of which we do not speak, you've had moments where she does interact with individual lanterns and you get the sense of their dynamics. So like we get to see her work with Hal, we get to see her work with Guy, who's probably my favorite. We get to see her work with John a little bit. I don't know about Simon, but you've seen these
we've seen her work with Simon too.
So I like that. Like you can kind of see the relationship with her versus the other lanterns to kind of get a sense of it. So I think this issue is just adding to that.
And the whole time the United Planets was in control of Oa, Joe was there undercover with Jess. So they would have had some interactions there that we just haven't seen.
Totally.
Yeah. So they would have had some unseen history, but it's still really cool to see the two of them just be partners for a little bit. Though I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for wanting to see Simon and Jess be partners again.
It's been a while.
They were a great pairing.
That's like nostalgic now.
Yeah, which it's weird, but it was nearly 10 years ago when they had their first book together. And I was reading through the first issue the other day. Well, not even the first issue, like the Rebirth issue of when Hal was like, "Here, your lanterns are fused together now. Stop fighting, learn to work together." Right? And just like when you look at that, where they're just like, "No, I can make constructs, you can, not a boo boo." And then like 56 issues later, like, "I love you, you're my best friend."
Jinx, I can't do this without you.
It's fucking crazy.
The power of
That's another thing too. That book, like Jess's progression in it is so crazy. Because I forget really for like the first, I don't know, quarter of the book, she couldn't even make constructs. It wasn't until they went to Oa and had boot camp with Guy and Kyle she could make constructs.
One of my all-time favorite moments.
Oh, dude. Still easily like one of my favorite arcs from that book, where she
Guy saying
I'm punching bag at Guy.
Yeah, I'm no pushover. Really? That's not what Batman says. No, just shut up. Oh God!
Oh, just shut up.
Hilarious.
I'm right there with you. I do miss that dynamic.
Yeah, it was some good stuff.
I like Kyle Jesus. I like Kyle kind of Cal is what I said, like Superman.
Kyle
Kyle
and Hal. Kyle and Hal. Cal.
Sure. Yeah. Are they dating? Why are we shortening their names?
that
that'll be their fusion.
Their fusion.
It'll be the Green Lantern fusion.
Yeah. That's how you get Ion now.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, as we know from World's Finest, the Green Lantern ring can fuse two people together.
Apparently. I need Mark Waid to write a one-off Green Lantern issue just to explain that.
Look, as established in Silver Age, a Green Lantern ring can do anything. And by anything, they mean literally anything. If you want to fuse two people, you can do that.
You take that back. this is peak. Okay, this is fucking peak. Power Rangers and Dragon Ball.
I'm not gonna lie, that fucking design is amazing.
Yes.
I love Green Lantern rings being able to fuse people is.
It had to happen somehow.
Weird.
Yeah, I know it's hokey, but I think after reading the Green Lantern when that was coming down, like that just broke down all the stigma I had about, Green Lanterns can only make constructs and recharge. It's like, yeah, I guess a Green Lantern ring can age someone up or open a portal or fuse two people together. Yeah. I don't know if that's sacrilegious to say, but if it can do anything, it can do anything.
Quite literally, and this is the thing that's been said a lot, is the only limitations a Green Lantern ring can have is whatever the writer desires.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. It can do whatever the writer chooses it can do.
Because of willpower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's...
God forbid they ever let me write Green Lantern. I'm going to come up with some bullshit.
I'm all for it. I am all for it.
Bullshit.
All I ask...
Green Lantern can do anything. Company can do anything.
All I ask is you pick up that plot thread Jeff Johns left on the floor of Simon having Emerald healing or whatever the fuck it was called, where he brought his brother-in-law back to life.
I don't even think Jeff Johns remembers that plot thread. He wrote it.
Jeremy Adams remembers that plot thread. He mentioned it the other in the last issue.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
I
don't know. That's all I ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I love Jeremy Adams. Yeah. So this is going to get an 8.75 out of 10.
Yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for me. Standout's definitely Sinestro. What can I say?
Yeah.
Sinestro as a Green Lantern will never not be entertaining. And I don't know, slightly heartfelt moment with Sin Sun. Like, you've come a long way from who the fuck are you? Oh, you're my son? Yeah, I don't care.
No, you're not.
I'm proud of what you've done to me. That is some growth. Like, for as cold and Grinch-like as Sinestro can be, I know there is a heart somewhere deep within. That's the stuff that I love. So yeah, always gonna win me over. And then Jess and Joe, great stuff. If a bit cheesy. That speech to Mogo, I was like, this is kind of Disney Channel. I still like it.
Yeah.
And you, Josh?
For me, man, there's a lot that happens in this book. First, poor Mogo. The relationship between Sin Sun and Sinestro. I did not like the evil super sons. You guys know that. I didn't enjoy that book, but this,
most people did.
It's starting to work for me. Zod Light falling in love with Vexaru is pretty damn funny. Sin Sun and Zod Light running Korgar, that is pretty cool. I really like that idea. My notes are covered up by a thingamajig. Weird. Anyway, seeing Jess back out in the field, if even momentarily, that was great. Really great. Ellie needs to get into Kelly's head for certain. There's something not great going on inside there. I want more on the Gauntlet too. I know that there's a lot going on. The Green Lantern universe is crazy, but it's been a really long time with very little other than the briefest of moments discussing it. Past that though, this was just freaking great. Hampton and Adams really know what they're doing, and Nwalpin and Prianto really know how to show that. I gave this an 8.75 out of 10.
Nice.
It was just
on the Gauntlet. I don't know. I hope they can find a way to spice it up. But as someone who's not a fan of the Renegade arc, and I don't know if that's the Gauntlet, But if it is,
it's a point of contention in that regard.
yeah, I kind of want to forget about that forever.
I
And
mean,
does it have to be that?
even if it is the same gauntlet, before it was Hal's Renegade Gauntlet, it was still Chrono's Gauntlet.
Yeah.
If it was Hal's Renegade Gauntlet, Hal would have noticed. And Hal's Renegade Gauntlet didn't have a backpack with a vacuum hose on it, did it?
It did.
It did, yeah.
With
Yeah.
it with the did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that, but still, Hal would have fucking known what it was when he looked at it.
That I don't remember where it was said or when, probably during the run that shall not be named, but it was mentioned. Somebody asked, is this Chrono's Gauntlet? And somebody said, we've tested that, and no. We know where Chrono's Gauntlet is. This is not Chrono's Gauntlet.
And no.
Why would they have 2 Green Lantern gauntlets anyway? Wasn't the whole point of it
that's the thing.
Experiment?
That's the big question, is where did this one come from?
Oh,
yeah.
Someone copied it.
Okay.
And Hal's the one that Hal used. He was able to take that on and off whenever. This one is like stuck on Kelly's arm. Nobody can get it off. Nobody knows where it came from. Nobody knows how it came to be. And this is across like 4 different fucking writers.
Unless Kelly's gauntlet has taken on additional properties of the Green Lantern ring, and that means that in order for it to come off of her, she has to die, and then it will be transferred to somebody else.
Dear God. Don't say that. She's 12.
So basically just the Green Lantern ring.
I don't want her to, but I'm thinking that the fucking gauntlet may just be a Green Lantern ring, just in a different form.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, man. I'm hoping.
I'm fucking hoping. Yeah, that's why I'm like, you know what, the less explored about this might be for the better.
I just hope it has nothing to do with Volthoom.
Oh Lord, yeah.
No
I'm done with the First Lantern. I was done with the First Lantern during the wrath of the First Lantern.
Strike him from the record, please.
I will say, Earth like Prime Volthoom has never been explored.
Didn't they bring Volthoom back in Green Lanterns? Am I tripping? Like he was an antagonist for some arc, I think.
He was.
Wait, when?
It might have been like that first or second arc where they had the ring that could
the Phantom ring.
Motion. The Phantom ring, yeah.
Yeah. But I think that was still it was they went back in time. Simon and Jess, they ended up back in time when the rings were first created.
Oh, was that like the first Green Lanterns or whatever?
Yeah. I think Volthoom was also. I think they had to fight Volthoom, I think is what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's when we were told about all the First Lanterns, right?
Yeah.
Then
the first 7, yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yep, because that was a part of that Jeopardy show too.
Yeah.
That Jeopardy show that I made the questions all so hard no one will play Jeopardy with me again.
I'll play if you make them a little easier.
I did. Yeah,
that was like even I couldn't.
Yeah, that was like stumping the actually cast.
Yeah.
The fucking college dropout got them all wrong, you know? It's I have a plethora of them and I have a plethora of Jeopardy questions, like 30 or so games ready to go, and a random number generator to pick the file. So we just load them up into that Jeopardy website and play.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
I mean, not right now.
No, we'll get
Brandon's gotta go watch Superman.
We'll figure it out.
I gotta go watch Superman.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna walk over to the theater, so I need a decent bit of time to get ready. But yeah.
We'll get back.
Definitely got to run that. one of these other days.
You can watch Superman later, but you could talk about Aquaman now.
Yeah.
I could talk about Aquaman now. And in fact, I will talk about Aquaman right now, because honestly, this was also kind of a brief issue. And let's just say controversial. I need a softer word for controversial. Opinions are divided. Let's say that on the content. But yes, this is Aquaman number 7, written by Mr. Jeremy Adams, with art by Michael Shelfer, colors by Rex Locus, and letters by Dave Sharp. Aquaman, Zan of the Wonder Twins, and of course our two friends, Vivian of the Lady of the Lake, and Orion, take out some of Dagon's slavers while also destroying one of his ships, but preserving, I guess, Nemo's Nautilus while doing it at the same time. I was a little unclear on that one. But in any case, after taking out Dagon's slavers, they then make their way back to the ship as Captain Nemo sets course for the lost Atlantis that Arthur has been long waiting to return to. Of course, there is a moment where they're sort of questioning whether or not they should go. Really, Vivian is unsure, especially considering that Dagon is very likely to arrive at that moment, and they don't really have a plan of what they're going to do when he arrives. Arthur is just like, we'll fight him. And they're like, that's not really a plan. But anyway, they make their way to Lost Atlantis at last. And what they find there is a bit disheartening. As initially, it seems like they can't really find anyone. But then Arthur sees someone that he believes to be Mira, only she replies, "Why are you here? Or who are you? And what do you want with my mother?" Meaning that this mysterious redheaded stranger is none other than our formerly infant Andy, now all grown up, which means that, yes, Atlantis has been victim of a time skip, I guess, because weird time dilation in the blue means that time has passed considerably longer for the people of Atlantis than it has for Arthur, meaning that in the time that he has been gone and Atlantis has been away, it has been decades, while it's only been about a month for Arthur. And of course, as everyone else has aged up, including Garth and Jackson. Forgot for a second. That also means that Mira has also been aged up, but also she's sick. And Arthur has a rather sad moment where he talks with Mira, who reveals that just as much as she is withered with age, she has also had her strength sapped by Dagon, and really implores Arthur and Andy to get out of there before Dagon arrives. But it's too late, as Dagon arrives shortly and makes plans to basically go after Arthur, but also making the statement that if anyone attempts to get in their way, he will kill them. So Tempest runs off to inform Arthur that Dagon is here. And Arthur, of course, naturally is ready to fight, but Mira is against it, saying that she'd rather he take Andy and flee, and in her last breaths attempts to tell Arthur that she loves him, but unfortunately passes away. So Arthur heads out and gets ready to chop the head off of this SOB. And just as Dagon is making threats to the rest of Arthur's squad at this point, and is getting ready to attack with all of the tendrils that surround him, Arthur and Andy show up ready to go down. Even though Arthur is holding his trident and should be holding his trident sword. I don't know if that was an art mistake, but anyway. It is a solid issue. I don't really have a rating for it because I just want to see how this plays out and whether or not there is going to be this lasting change for all of the Atlanteans with regards to their age by the end of this arc. Like, is it going to be something that just changes after issue 8, or moving forward, is everyone just going to be older in Atlantis while Arthur is still young? If it is the former and everything goes back, I don't really know how I'd feel about that because kind of feels like the stakes aren't there. But if everyone is older, honestly, I don't think I would enjoy that very much. Like I hate time skips that just like don't really explore anything. It's just the character is now old and you just kind of have to deal with it. And there's no attempt to really explore what that means. Now, maybe Jeremy Adams will be different, but I don't know. I never really have much hope in it. So I'll give this one a 7 for now. Like I enjoyed it. The art is okay. Honestly, I much prefer John Timms to Michael Shelfer. And I still think the voice for Arthur is solid, though I did find his reaction to Mira's death a little off-putting. But I don't know. I just kind of wait and see how this all resolves in the next issue before I really make a final decision on how I feel about this stuff. So 7 out of 10.
I look up and the sun shining through my window makes me look like a hologram.
Jesus, yeah.
I don't know how to stop it. Because on my camera. Interesting. Okay. Well then.
Not much you can do about that.
Nope.
It's because of the virtual background, but that's all good.
Yeah.
You're a ray of sunshine, Rob.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
So, for me, there's two things here. First, 2 parts. Let me go. Let's talk about the issue as a standalone. This was really good. The dialogue Adams has for every character he writes is completely different. The pacing he has is absolutely perfect. What happens in the issue is fun. It's interesting. It keeps me turning the pages. And that's, in addition to the art, which isn't the best we've seen in the Aquaman title, but it's solid, though there are some faces and expressions that I'm not a big fan of. Seeing adult Andy was cool, and the way that they worked in Zan was really cool. But now for the second part. The last time that we saw Mara, she was completely normal, though Dagon was going to do something horrible to her. I guess that horrible thing that he's done to her is accelerate the passage of time for Atlantis. That's what's happened, but it feels disconnected, the two. And the last time that we saw Mara, seeing Mara in this issue is what I mean. For Arthur, it's been a little over a month, but for Atlantis, it's been long enough for Jackson to go completely silver-headed, Mara to hit 80 or older. So I'm going to say that's at least 4 decades, maybe closer to 5 at bare minimum.
I don't know about
by Jackson's age.
that.
Black don't crack. So, I mean, this could even be 6 decades.
Maybe. Well, I also don't know if his hair is gray. It could just be like a
silver,
slightly like dark, because he has like the blonde hair. So it could just be a slightly darker version of that. I mean, Garth definitely is sporting some gray. I always thought that was dyed. Yeah, I don't know. I think it is. Yeah, I don't know.
But in any case, so they are 4, 5, or 6 decades older, but Garth looks maybe 2 to 3 decades older. Andy definitely only 2 decades older. So design issues to be sure, but it could all be explained by Arian's comment that the blue pulls from past and future. So I guess each individual person could be affected differently in the confluence, which is what the blue is. We've figured that out by now. So I guess that could easily explain that. But if that is the case, then what was the horrible thing that Dagon did to Mara? Now she's dead, but Dagon did not cause the accelerated aging. That apparently is the blue. So maybe I'm a little confused here, but there's some things that aren't adding up for me. I'm not letting it drag the score down too far. The revelation could come later. What's tying all of this up? Those are 2 things that are sticking out for me that I'm really iffy about. And I think that's the first time I've said that about a Jeremy Adams. I can't remember the last time I doubted a Jeremy Adams book, but this one, 7.5 out of 10. It's still a good book, but this has definitely introduced more eyebrow raising questions than anything else.
I want to have faith that it will be a satisfying conclusion, but
As do I.
No, I'm a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie either, but Adams does like to plant pearl-shaped seeds that take a long ass time to grow.
Yeah.
So I'm still in it. Yeah. I'm hoping I will be less unsure.
Yeah. I'm also, Rob, to your comment about, or Josh, I can't remember if it was you, that the blue pulls from both past and future. I'm also wondering if this is just an Atlantis from a failed future where like Arthur hadn't reached them, and so decades passed, and so I'm wondering if it's like an X-Men Days of Future Past type thing.
It could be because like, they always call this Lost Atlantis, right?
Lost
they never even call it Atlantis. They always call it Lost Atlantis.
Well, it was I want to say it was Nemo that said that the Atlanteans landed here and built their new civilization. Like, this isn't the Atlantis that disappeared.
Yeah,
for sure. This is buildings they built.
Yeah,
right. So wherever the actual city went, we don't know.
Yeah. So it's
if these are even the actual people.
Yeah, it's still possible that the present day Atlanteans have not yet been found.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that will be revealed in a later issue.
And that Angelina will still go with her father. And then baby Andy will still be around.
You're gonna have baby Andy and old Annie. What is this X-Men shit?
This is why this is like YTV's reboot. That's what this is. You have old Enzo Matrix and you have young Enzo Matrix.
I don't need this confusion. Why can't we just have one? We don't need old and young.
Speed Force.
Oh,
ain't gotta explain shit.
This is like no, this really is like X-Men. This is classic X-Men shit. They were doing the same thing with Cable, where they had young Cable and old Cable. It's like, make up your mind.
Yeah.
Please.
This is the Aquaman family, though. Y'all know it's gonna be like, Andy, what? Not you! God damn it, take me home.
I guess the baby Andy can barely speak, so maybe there'll be less problems there. But I don't know. I don't have kids, so babies are probably more difficult to deal with. I'm sure Rob, you can answer that question.
You just have to have a cupboard that's big enough.
I forgot. I mentioned it in our Discord chat either yesterday or today that I think I brought it up a couple of months ago when it came to Future State Justice League. There's something that was pondering in my head where you had Joe and John and Jace were all seemingly not that much older than their current day selves. And then you had Andy from a baby grown up at least 20 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and I can't remember what Jess Chambers Flash from another universe, so that can be explained away age-wise. That doesn't matter. But baby Andy just seemingly grew up so much where the other three didn't look like they aged that much. Right. That was always on my mind.
That one actually was explained. I don't know if I think we talked about it, but the Future State Aquaman series had I'm sure you'll remember when I say it, but
Andy and Jackson.
Andy and Jackson exploring. And the confluence. And presumably this is, it has to be before she would join the Justice League, but they were, lost for years. She was trying to find Jackson while he was trapped wherever the hell he was. So presumably that's how she was able to age. Maybe it's one of those things where time passes faster in the blue, confluence or whatever the hell. Yeah.
And it was written by Brandon Thomas.
That's right.
I'm just curious. I want to look up.
I enjoyed that story.
Really quick. Well, I'll go with my review for now. I really enjoyed this book still. I have to do a fucking colon. I'm not against the aging up of Andy right now, but we'll have to see what comes of it. I almost don't want it to just go back to status quo. I wouldn't mind if the other characters didn't get aged up, though. So I wouldn't mind some status quo remaining. Like, I don't want to see Jackson and Mira and Garth kind of just become.
What he's saying is like he wants grown up Andy, but everything else to stay the same.
Yeah. I
don't know, but I'm just like I can't help but look at this and see another John Kent, and I understand what you were saying in that she doesn't have that much development that John had in the brief like 2 years before he got aged up, but I don't know. I don't want them to miss out on that, like having her kind of grow up in as much as you can in comics and time and all that stuff, as opposed to, well, now she's just an adult, and you'll never get that chance to see her kind of grow as a part of the Aqua family. I don't know.
I would like to see that
to me. Yeah, like I don't know.
Mara ruling Atlantis, Arthur raising Andy, and Jackson doing hero shit with Arthur filling in the backside, and Arthur and Garth. That's what I would like to see go.
Or even, I mean, that was one of the things I liked about that Future State series was Andy was essentially like Jackson's sidekick. And I love this idea that, I mean, we'll always love Arthur's Aquaman, but were he to ever retire and Jackson were to become the Aquaman, Jackson would be the kind of person that could be a mentor to Andy and help her grow and, have her kind of be like the new Aqua Lad, basically, or Aqua Lass or whatever, or Aqua Girl, who gives a shit. I don't know, something, and I would hate to miss out on that.
Yeah.
It could jump right there.
But that's why you get both.
No. Go read X-Men if you want.
You're making it confusing again. Version. Stop making it confusing.
I need more of that.
What am I going to? This one I didn't know what to score it though.
Didn't.
I'll give it an 8.5.
Well, very well then. I guess that wraps up Aquaman. So let's take it over to Batman and Robin, who surprisingly only has one book this week. I feel like you guys remember 2 years ago when it was like our podcast was like 7 fucking Batman books and Poison Ivy.
You remember when I did the tally? I think it was throughout 2021. There was literally pretty close to 50% Batman titles of all books. 50% of them were Batman. The other 50% was everybody else.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But now it's 60% or 60%. Now it's 50% super books. So now the tables have turned.
Yeah. But I'll allow it for now because it's the summer of Superman.
Yeah, I'm down for that, man.
Yeah.
I don't have super fatigue. I'll have bat fatigue, but I don't have super fatigue. At least not yet.
No. At least not yet.
At least they put like an end date on it, not like an actual date, but like it's the summer of Superman. So like by October, it's gonna be done.
It would be awesome if Wade took over Superman and did both Superman and action.
It would be, but I wouldn't mind just having 2 creative teams.
Okay, just replace Wade.
I like having the balance, honestly. Yeah.
I like it. Like I wouldn't mind it, but like
write the main,
get some differences.
Mark Waid to write the main Superman book, I would definitely want someone else doing action, just to keep it fresh.
Fair. Well, all right. Batman and Robin 23. Written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Art from Miguel Mendonça, colors from Marcelo Mialo, letters from Steve Wands, and the cover frame came from Carmine Di Giandomenico with Marcelo Mialo colors. The issue kicks off with several pages of Etrigan showing Batman from where Memento came, and, well, he's a damn demon. Meanwhile, back with the Gotham Irregulars, who I like more and more with every issue, and I'm actually hoping they become a fixture in Gotham. They've stumbled onto Memento, full on gruesome mode, faces popping out all over the place, and an extra arm or two, fighting Damian. Batman places a call to the phone he gave to the Irregulars and finds out that they went looking for the lost kid, that being Damian. So he and Lautrec race there in the Batmobile. Robin is able to hold off Memento with a little help from the Irregulars, and the Batman shows up and blammo levels him. Though he does get away, Batman and Robin make up and Batman apologizes. Their hug is why Memento was able to get away, but, you know, it needed to happen. 100%. While that's going on, Lautrec is looking elsewhere and finds Eddie Burroughs, who every time I see that name makes me laugh because I was such a Tarzan fan when I was growing up. He's possessed by Memento and he attacks her. Looks like she's dead when Batman shows up. Saddened and angry, he kneels down next to her like he's about to go, no! But he doesn't because Memento sneaks up behind him and another blammo clobbers him fiercely. Next, we see Memento taunting Batman about how he's going to claim Damian as his forever home, while he and the possibly dead Lautrec are tied up to a lamppost. So, holy smokes. Though I'm disappointed that Damian isn't getting the respect he deserves, and that's the fan base's fault, including my two co-hosts here. The story is amazing. That's the right word for it, too. It's amazing. It's been gripping since the second issue of PKJ taking over, and this issue is no different. If I read this physically, there would have been finger marks bent into the pages. Forget not knowing what's going to happen from one issue to the next, because I don't know what will happen from one panel to the next. And Mendonça and Malo's art captures the entire spirit of the story and all of its grotesque, macabre, grimy elegance, and makes it jump off the page at me. It's just such a fantastic book. This issue hit a home run, dude. 9 out of 10. I fucking loved it.
So I missed what you said. What was our fault?
Damian not getting the respect he deserves and having to continue to be burdened by the Robin Vandals.
Burdened. Clearly very telegraphed that he was not going to change, but as usual, you refuse to listen to me.
I will hold out hope.
Burdened,
as usual.
Burdened with being a Robin.
Actually, I think Rob was the one who called it.
Where he was glorious purpose, maybe.
Damian's brief identity crisis before going back to Rob. Going back to Robin. So actually, if you want to get mad at him, Rob's probably the one threw the theory out first. But
yep,
that's all my fault.
That's right. We knew it.
Not cool, dude. Not cool.
How dare you quote Full House at me?
Oh, that's awesome. All right, well, did you guys give both your scores?
Did you give a score?
I did. I gave it an enthusiastic 9 out of 10.
Oh shit! Right on.
Shit!
Oh shit! I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I really like the way it's gone. I like that Damian and Bruce had their father-son moment. It was really, really, really beautiful reconcile. I'm just, as much as I know it was heading in that direction, and it was, Brandon said the word, but I'm using a different way. It was telegraphed, and it honestly makes perfect fucking sense. I'm kind of disappointed that Memento is actually a demon. I was really hoping that this
How
was
would
just going to
he
be
still
like a.
Atticus Bly?
I didn't want him to be Atticus Bly.
Well,
I wanted it.
he's
I wanted it
wearing
all to
Atticus
be
Bly's
a
face.
psychotropic mind fuck, and
Yeah.
just like this really demented guy that like did his research on a lot of shit, and it turned out to actually be like a copycat killer over all these decades.
Serial killer
Yeah.
fanboy.
I kind of agree
Okay,
with you.
that could have been all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like
I
that
think
whole
thinking about
that whole thought of like maybe just maybe this is a demon, and just like, okay, no, I need to calm down. It's not a demon. It's just a psychopath. Right?
I think
I would have loved
Memento. I think the fact that Memento is a demon is kind of what PKJ was trying to get at this whole thing.
Oh yeah,
Batman
no,
and Robin facing
that was
their
very
own demons
clear. I was just
together,
in
and
denial.
It's like it's
Yeah.
I mean, I respect what he's doing, and I have I've had a hell of a time, even if
Yeah.
even if I wish Damian would move on from Robin. I am
Yeah.
happy to wait through this.
I mean, even more so to your point, like what you're saying there, like they're facing a demon while facing their own demons. And with my theory, if the demon wasn't real, they'd still be facing their own demons because, again, their demons are not real. It's all made up by them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
From their psyche.
No, that's.
I mean, their drama is self-made. I mean to say, like, yeah, they might have personal demons, but like the drama they're facing between father and son is just like, y'all just need to talk. Y'all just need to like have some bonding.
But the one thing I'll say is they've had quite a few talks at this point, so I think they can understand to some degree how the other feels.
Yeah.
What I kind of like is like Bruce arrives at the scene, and it's not even like Damian, I wish I could have done this or this. It's just like, I'm sorry, like just straight to it. And that I'm like, yeah, like you know to a degree what the other person is feeling, and you know that you were in the wrong, and really the only thing you have to do is apologize. And Damian's just like, I recognize and I forgive you, Father. And I'm like, honestly, that's all I needed. It'll be great to see them continue to talk things out, but a moment like that, you can tell it's really genuine.
Yeah,
Johnson certainly made it feel that way.
Yeah, but I do kind of agree with you. I don't dislike the demon reveal. I think it's interesting, and it definitely fits in with the supernatural aspects of Gotham's past. But I don't know. Now that I think about it, I'm kind of like, it would have been cool if all of that was just for figments of Bruce's like psyched out mind, and maybe it was just someone who was really good at manipulating the Gravedigger's Poppy or whatever, like some crazy psychopath or something. Yeah, not a letdown, but maybe a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
I won't argue that, but I still think it works for the story that he was trying to tell.
It still works. It's just I would prefer it the other way. Yeah, that's all I got.
That's about all you got?
That's about all I got.
Well, then that's about all they're gonna get. Let's hit the top 3. I'll go first. First place, or not first, third place. Superman Treasury. That was fantastic. Knocked my socks off from what I was anticipating. Second place, Green Lantern Corps, and that book was just awesome. And the Batman and Robin is the only reason why I didn't get first place. My favorite moment is simple, but it made me super happy. It was seeing Jess out in the field.
Right on. My top 3 is the same, but in reverse. I got Batman and Robin at number 3. I got Green Lantern Corps at number 2, and Superman Treasury at number 1. My favorite moment also comes from GLC, but it is with Lord Zod just falling in love with Vexaru as she beats the snot out of him. That's total Kryptonian move.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm not gonna argue that.
Let's see. Number 3, I have. Oh man, it's kind of tough. I'll do Batman and Robin. Number 2, Superman Treasury. But I think number 1 this week is going to go to Action Comics. Like I said, I'm a sucker for Superboy. But my favorite moment, I think, is going to come from Batman and Robin. Honestly, like the last 2 pages, Memento's poem, or whatever you want to call it, like just such a bone-chilling way to end the issue. Where it's just
It really was.
Right? It's like, when I'm done, I will take your son. While he stares at, his parents being killed in the alley. I was like, oh God,
Right?
joke, man. Like, you just got Damien back, and now you have to live with the fear that Memento might possess him forever.
Literally.
Yeah, that was messed up.
The demon.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
all right.
Then I guess let's take a look at our favorite covers.
Yeah, let's do it.
Shall we?
All right.
Mine came to me with zero hesitation. But there we have Superman, Action Comics, Supergirl, Green Lantern Corps, Aquaman, and Batman and Robin.
Oh, that was definitely your favorite. Look at all the text on that cover.
Mine was easily, just that is great. I love Ryan Sook. This is great. I love Bruno Redondo, but there's nothing that's gonna make that look. That is just gorgeous, man.
It is. It really is a brilliant cover.
I love it. I am all the way down for this. It's gorgeous, man.
Oh yeah.
Who did that?
Fernando Pazrin, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Did the pencils, yeah.
Yep. Pizarro, or Pizarrin and Albert and Prianto.
Right.
Oh, Claire Albert. Oh yes, that's just beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I got this digitally, but I might actually go get that physically.
Right on.
That is just
it's worth it.
Gorgeous, dude.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a variant version.
Probably is.
That would be so sick. All right. Anyway.
This would be my favorite cover, but Action Comics exists, and that cover is bloody amazing.
Yeah. Dang, that was gonna be my pick.
A very, very, very close second was Superman Treasury, because that one was also equally as gorgeous. But
yeah. Honestly, even though I didn't love the issue, I do really like the cover to Aquaman number 7. I think it's Gleb Melnikov doing the cover.
Yes,
it is really well done, and I just love how imposing Dagon looks with the cover.
Fucking monster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. And I guess that's it.
Yeah.
So that's it is.
So it is 8:30. It is an hour and a half. Enough time for you to get ready and walk to the movie theater, Brandon.
Ready. Well, I gotta go change my shirt, maybe shower, and then head on over.
Right on.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back next week covering all of DC's weekly releases. Same geek time, same geek channel, and that is the show. We're getting out of here, so you'll have to as well. Be careful out there. And remember, in the Geek Matrix, everyone has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.
Peace.
See ya.